That is.
Oh, it's silent.
For a lot.
Yes, that's through the land use review board, but yeah. I think there's been a lot of, but the Vermont Conservation Plan, I think they're working and
This is a whole new perspective. This is gonna.
So which state, I'm struggling to hear you.
this is for he's talking about the 30 by 30 plan.
Act 59.
That's the conservation plan that the state is doing, and I think they haven't released it yet.
Well, I went to the meeting last week.
Oh, great, what did you?
I learned several things where I could share, but on this particular item, they still have outdated maps. And I got blank look.
I'd like. I'm trying to get.
And they didn't know. Okay, so
Alright.
I intimated that I've been working with Jason, he was talking to you, they said, oh, that's great lead. But they got outdated maps too, they showed me.
That was the ANR or who?
That this was the Vermont Housing VHCD
Okay.
presentation, and then we had one here locally that I went to.
I gotta. It's currently 5:36 PM on the 13th of April. I'd like to call to order the planning commission meeting in the town of Facein. All commissioner members are in attendance, as well as Nikki, who's here from Central Vermont Regional Planning Commission. As far as agenda modifications, depending on how long we chat with Nikki, we may shorten our review of the town plan update status and initial survey trends, and we might shorten the liaison report so we can get out of here a reasonable other hour. Does anyone else have any agenda modifications that may happen? No. Okay, so there's 5 of us here. We have the meeting notes from January 13th, February 9th, and March 9th. Everyone, at least I was here for all of them. Can we just try to approve all of those meeting notes? Has everyone seen them?
I reviewed the ones from February that I attended, and I'm okay with.
Okay. Everyone else have?
I'm okay with all of them and I was here.
Can someone make a motion to approve all the minutes?
I move that we approve the minutes as written.
I
Or-
second it. All in favor? Anyone from the general public in attendance, Jason?
No.
No one's in the room. All right. The annual reorganization session. To elect a chair, vice chair, and set our meeting agenda. Would anyone like to motion to elect a chair?
So I'm gonna nominate Langford.
Second? Second. All in favor?
I'd like to have
Oh,
discussion.
Sorry, discussion.
So I have some concerns.
Okay,
The Google glasses,
okay.
not being notified that you're wearing those felt like a real betrayal.
Okay.
And I didn't like that at all.
Okay,
And the survey, we had decided we didn't want it to be slanted. And I know I haven't seen the whole thing.
okay.
I don't think any of us have. And you put in some questions that were personal to you. Do we want a lap pool? I mean, there were questions that I think,
Okay,
made it a slanted survey. And I think that was not okay that it went out without all of us seeing it and voting on it.
so. In the last 3 minutes of the meeting before town meeting, I had a motion to. Finish up the survey and publish it. I made the motion, you seconded it.
I absolutely agree
Yeah.
with you, but
And then we
there were
voted.
changes made that we didn't see. And I still can't see them because I can only access the full-time resident portion of it.
Oh, you can hit part-time and it'll show all that stuff too. And I didn't do the lap pool. Just as an item, that came from the previous survey. I didn't create that question at all. But I understood, I'm more than willing to sit down with you and work on this
But
survey.
I think in the future, anything that comes out of this group should come before all of us and not just not let anyone else, one person.
Yeah, the 10-4. Just so you know, the only changes I made from the night of that meeting to publishing it on town meeting day was to change the way one of the questions was answered from circles to boxes, but I changed nothing else on the survey.
But there was a lot of stuff that just wasn't ready for prime time, I think.
Okay,
I think the point Fred is trying to make, and I see it in some other things as well, is we are a team. Okay, and if we're gonna release something for the public, we should make sure we have a clear understanding of what it is and the final version to approve it. Because it's the survey is one example. There's been a few other examples where I feel decisions have been made outside of this meeting. And then we're either a fait accompli is presented to us. And we haven't had time to deliberate and discuss things, at least to my satisfaction. So I think, Langford, what I would like is a commitment that we will, before we release things to the public, we have a clear review of the final version and say, yes, this is the way it is, and we're good with that.
okay,
I mean, I applaud your enthusiasm. I think your enthusiasm is excellent. But we have to make sure we're a team and we're a planning commission. And things that get released to the public are approved in their final version by us. That's my point.
understandable. I will take that under advisement and I will work to make that happen more effectively.
Thank you.
I've been largely absent, so my apologies to the rest of the commission. That being said, I thought well, I obviously missed something. I missed more than one thing, but I spoke with Langford after the last meeting and said, you know, hey, thanks for sending me the link to the survey. You know, I'll give you my feedback. And he was like, no, that went out. And I was like, whoa, kind of like, holy shit.
Yeah,
So holy moly, you know, that went out. That was, it slipped one by me. I thought there would be more discussion. I have completed the survey. I think, I don't see the slant. Have you done it, the survey? Where, I don't understand the slant. I just had a couple issues with how I had trouble answering a couple of the questions. The one that,
Zoning, do you think it should change here?
well, that got a little granular in places, I thought, but like answering, the household, you work full-time, part-time from home, in the valley, out of the valley for each household member. Didn't quite, maybe it was just me, but I couldn't seem to figure out a way to properly answer that question. And then it did get a little detailed, we got a little bogged down in some of the details, I think, with zoning and promoting, you know, where do we promote, development, commercial development, retail, that sort of thing. But generally very good. I mean, I can't.
and we can spend a significant amount of time talking about the survey and that part of the agenda and Nikki's presentation. And yeah, trying to work with you guys.
My glasses do not record. Yeah, I'd like you to let me know like when you're recording me. So again, I can clean up my language and fix my hair.
Well, first of all, they're not on, they're just my glasses, and I use them mostly for mountain biking, and they just happen to be the glasses that are comfortable. And this entire meeting is video recorded with audio. So at any point, I mean, yeah, I could understand after the meeting or something like that, I could understand that. I mean, I'm not using the glasses to do anything. I don't even use them really. I use them to record when I go ride bikes with my kids. But
Do they record in the background though, like our phones kind of? I mean,
well, I mean, your phone's listening to everything you say regardless.
so it was probably, I mean, but
I
you have
turn
the
them off.
ability
I
to,
turn them off.
can you go back from any time during the day and look?
No. If they were recording, there'd be a big white light that would tell you that they're recording. They're very much. I just bought them because they were not that expensive. But I hear what you're saying.
Thank you.
My glasses, for the record, are old school.
Mine as well.
See,
Just for seeing
that's it.
So should we call the question?
All in favor of re-electing me to chair of the Basin Planning Commission?
Aye.
I,
With those provisos.
With those provisos?
Yeah.
Okay, for vice chair, I'd like to nominate Andrew.
Second,
I'd like to actually be, I think I'd like to open that for a second. I think we've balanced the positions a little bit. I think I wouldn't mind being vice chair for a while. I feel it's good to have some diversity, some changes. Paul was a chair for a bit, now Langford. I think we should rotate positions. So, I mean, I might feel Andrew's done a good job, but I mean, I wouldn't mind being the vice chair for a while.
fine with me.
okay,
Why, I
so
nominate.
then I nominate you.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you.
And we need to vote. Unless you don't want the position, if you don't want to run, if Michael's,
I don't need to run.
okay.
Good.
Okay, so so you moved to nominate Michael, the vice chair, Paul seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, Michael's the new vice chair. As far as the meeting schedule, Freddie had spoken about 2 meetings a month as we get further into town plan. I still think that that's a good idea. I don't think we need to make that a hard and fast rule to 2 meetings a month unless you guys do. Open that for discussion.
Well, I think we need to do it when we lay out the plan.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
then,
agree.
So
are we doing
So
that?
Let me chime in. Our schedule states in our rules that we are the second Monday.
Yeah.
Second Monday of every month. It doesn't talk about regular meetings any other time. Wrote this up to add to that section of the rules that the commission reserves the right to schedule more than 1 regular meeting per month based on the workload. The commission will determine the schedule based on availability. So later on in the year, if we want to go for the second,
And I think they can be just work,
we would just have to
Meetings
add
and
it
not-
to.
I don't know what the rules are about that.
work group
You're saying
meetings,
like for the public meeting, would the public be, do we have to publicly warn us with
Well,
this?
that's what I don't know.
We would just have to add it to our rules in section 3.2, that little quirk, so we
Okay,
can
that
later
we can at our discretion,
vote on.
plan a meeting.
Add work session.
and we don't need to warn it.
Well, we will have to warn any meeting when we do it, like their meetings, we have to warn them according to
Okay.
statute and our own rules. But right now, we only have something for regular meetings, which is on the second Monday.
Mhm.
And then we have something for special meetings, which. If we were actually to go for a second meeting. For a duration of time, that's not really a special or emergency meeting, that would be just an increased regular meeting, so just this little quirk. If you wanna read that and. Added to section. 3.2 will help us out, so we have the right to do.
3.2 in
The rules.
the rules, not in the LURs, not in the
Yeah,
Facein town
our
plan,
planning commission.
in our planning commission rules. I do remember this. So yeah, we're gonna hold the second Monday of each month. We're gonna add that blurb to say that we can schedule more. And then when we talked about going through the town plan, Andrew had suggested that, and I had said that we would get the agendas out much quicker, so we could warn them to the public, so the public would know. You know, in the next meeting, we're gonna be talking about chapter 3, ecology, or chapter 7, transportation. And so people would know about it, and we're gonna get that information out quicker so that we can get people to come and give us input. And that was, and I said that I would work very hard to get those agendas out much quicker, basically, right? Because if we're having a meeting every 2 weeks.
Maybe we could add that at the end of our meeting, we plan the next agenda.
Oh, yeah, very much so.
Yep.
So. I move that we continue to have our meetings the second Monday of each month and that we adopt this writing into our rules so that we can have second meetings. And when we do have second meetings, we'll make the agendas. Second. All in favor?
Hi.
That was a fun reorg session.
Okay, hello. Happy to see you all. Nikki Schaffner with our Coastal Vermont Regional Planning Commission. So I'm here to perform a statutory consultation, which we do twice in every 8-year planning period with the town. So the purpose is just to better understand how the town is implementing your plan, and so we can determine how the town is engaged in the planning process. So I'm really just gonna, I've reviewed the town plan recently. Again, I had last year when you called me out as well. So, and just really highlighted a few of priorities that I saw in the plan. And, obviously there's big importance on natural heritage and resource protection. Forest resources is essential to your town plan goals. Forestry is also important to your economy. Some future land use considerations I saw was clustering housing development. And you had a land use objective just about recognizing distinct districts and regulating activities to ensure compatibility with those districts. So I won't go into a lot of the bylaw, but we can discuss it because we're not really here to review your bylaws, but we can discuss, regulation priorities. Let's see. In terms of going into regulatory processes, though, I think the last update I saw was December of 2025. Is that right? So aligning that, it said that it aligns with your 2020 town plan update and statutes from probably.
In statute, regulatory stuff.
Okay. So, and what was part of that? So I saw in the plan, I guess the 2020 plan, through the use of your PRD to plan residential development and planned unit development provisions. Development will continue to be allowed adjacent to the ski areas. Is that part of your recreation district planning?
A lot of it is recreation district, but it's also in that resort development district.
We can go back to that, but let's see, other areas I saw for non-regulatory implementation priorities, scenic quality. The town plan says there's a need to consider what areas of town are suitable for higher density development. I know there's not a lot of areas for higher density development. But it also said to ensure that the scenic views as well as wildlife corridors are maintained. So that balance of development and natural resources. At one point in your town plan, I saw there was a consideration of a growth center.
Yes.
So, I'm not sure if that's still a priority, or if you're looking to the base of Mount Ellen along, is it German Flats Road?
It's a challenge.
Yes.
It's a huge challenge.
Yeah, so it's, and doesn't have to be a plan, I'm just looking at what was in the last plan. The housing objective that you had on page 91 says, consider the creation of growth centers. Let's see, another area, so,
It's clear though, this is continue working with neighboring towns
yeah,
through the Mad River Valley Planning District to identify valley-wide growth centers.
yeah,
So that's what we're trying to do.
and that's what I assumed, with, connecting with, Waitsfield and Hyattsville, commercial district, because I believe a lot of that district is in the flood corridor or river corridor, so it's not really, it's a challenge. Right, so, really, I see that you have forest management plans, right? That you're probably have town plan goals around managing and monitoring them. Those are, key points that you should be tying into your goals of your plan. So really, I guess what I want to understand is what you see as, I guess, successes that you've had in your town planning so far and where you want to go next, with the next update. Does anyone want to go first?
Well, I think, Nikki, I guess what you just did is you kind of did a summary of your read of our town plan, correct?
Yeah, some parts of it, primarily land use, the ecology section, housing. I really read through most of it. It just to kind of get an understanding of where I saw the priorities lying in the last town plan.
So what we're doing now, we're getting a survey, a new survey,
Okay,
which we're trying to get new input from the community.
yeah.
There's only 5 of us, and we're trying to get community input.
Mhm.
Then we're going to mesh that with all the requirements that are coming through and then try to update this. What we're struggling with right now is the maps.
Yeah.
Is the map something that you can help us
The
with?
maps.
Brian and the maps,
Are we
so.
talking about future land use?
Well,
maps, or-
one, he did tell me that the conserved land map was gonna take a while, their stuff on the Mackin project. Kind of disappears.
So
We've been asking since March of 2024, March or May,
For conserved
maps.
land.
Yeah.
for all of
Well, a
our.
bunch
more
of
than
different
that.
maps.
The
So
trail, we have maps in
we
here,
have 10 maps.
but they're not up
Yeah.
to date.
Right,
And like the whole, we have a trail system that's not up to date, the map isn't. So we know there's other maps, and so we can't do much.
So we have a surface geology map, which isn't really gonna change much. We have a septic suitability
Yeah.
map, and that's gonna talk about like where you put septic, also not gonna change that much. Forest value groups is gonna change, ag soils may have changed, basin core habitats changed massively, water resources have changed with all the storms we've had.
Yeah.
Conserved lands is a huge pain point for everyone on the commission,
Yeah.
trying to figure out what's conserved land, especially when we start talking about Act 181 and then Act 59 with a 30 by 30, 50 by 50. That's like conserved lands is a huge issue for everyone on the planning commission. Zoning districts is something that I really wanted to talk to you more about. Last time you were here, you were saying that we might have to relabel some of our zoning districts to align with the new things. Housing resources and the Face and Road Network. Those are our 10 maps that we have. We've been doing a lot of work on the town plan, and Paul spent a significant amount of time comparing the 2020 to 2014 to the 2007. And the text is all the same.
okay, so it has been put up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I've probably spent 30 to 40 hours trying to do a wholesale edit of the town plan, which I've been tracking my changes, and like there's whole sections that just need to be completely rewritten because they're totally not current at all. And then we have all of these charts in the town plan that either directly pull information from the NRCS soil data, the USDA Natural Resources Conservation Services, like, but the charts are, that's from 2003, like some of chapter 3 stuff. And so my question to you is like, it's this massive undertaking to revise this town plan, and like, so I pulled all the charts out so that I can hit each chart or work with, so we can work.
Right.
I'm gonna make a presentation later about the work that I've done to try to figure this out,
Okay.
but we have to update all these charts with the survey information, and then just from all these different USGS websites, all this other stuff, like, is that what's expected in a town plan revision?
So if you get a regionally approved plan, I can go over
Yeah.
the required map. So you have to have a land use map.
Yeah.
Showing current land use and future land use map. So, and I noticed in your plan now, you have your zoning map and your future land use map are pretty identical, right? So generally they're different because obviously future land use is showing prospective uses and where you see. Your conserved lands versus your growth areas and all of that. So that's a requirement. Transportation maps, utility facility maps, they are required and they can be combined.
Okay.
Education and facility location maps that can be part of your utilities plan. The flood hazard and river corridor map, that is, it's required, but you can also use your local hazard mitigation maps, which
Yeah.
you should have.
I'm in contact with Ms. Dahl, who's the river coordinator, and she's getting me those.
Great.
I've asked her for them today.
Okay.
I'm in contact with them for river corridors as well as the the flood is the only evidence.
Nikki, do you know by way of background that nobody in this room had anything to do with the 2020 plan? There's no holdovers. We're all relative newbies
Okay,
here, so it's our first go round. And that's why, you know, my initial question was,
Mhm.
how much do they change from plan to plan? You know, how much
Like
have
in
they
general?
changed with that?
How-
In general, that's what Langan said was.
Not much.
Very quickly discovered it was not much, but just by way of background, when the first question you said was, what do we see as successes that we've had as a planning commission based on the 2020 plan? That's a hard question for any of us to answer, because we didn't write the 2020 plan. We were focused on this. We keep our first efforts for about a year on the board were, as a commission, were to try to send some revisions on the land use regulations to the select board. So we got bogged down in a lot of that. So we're really just starting to get to the town plan. Haven't really thought about that initial question, like, well, what did we get right? What did the commission get right? What did the select board get right?
right,
In terms of trying to implement what was in the 2020 town plan? Because we weren't part of that.
And what does seem to happen is people spend all this time and energy developing a new town plan. And then they kind of
Tired.
disappear. And so the next group comes in, like, we were really unaware of what our role in leading this forward was going to be, and that we had all these objectives and goals that should be directing our decisions.
right. But you, yeah, so. let
So
me-
we're figuring this out.
Right,
as we
and
go.
that's great, and you have 2 years, so you're well ahead of some towns in planning ahead. Some towns just do minimal
Means we
updates.
understand our ignorance.
We've seen,
Yeah.
we've seen it.
Gotta know what you don't know.
So but I think what I noticed, just because I've been reviewing a lot of plans, is, it looks like it meets statute for the most part. There are,
Our existing plan.
yes, aside from updated like forest integrity maps through Act 171, some of the housing planning goals, with housing. I think as a region, we don't see that Facein's going to have a huge target number, and even with the targets that we're releasing through the future land use map, it's an aspirational goal, right? Our actually regional future land use map, we are presenting to the board tomorrow. So it's a soft, I think, presentation that Brian's giving to the board. So you can see what your town looks like on that.
This is the Central Vermont Regional Planning Commission Board.
Yes, this is, for the future regional future land use
You're
map.
Part of that.
Yeah.
Is this the one that you're doing down at the Wakefield Town Hall?
No, that's
No, that is not it.
Yeah.
I think that's
just-
just Mad River Valley.
yeah, that's Thursday night. It's the Mad River Valley.
Christian's coming down to the Meadow
Friday.
Yeah.
District, that's Thursday night.
Yeah.
This is tomorrow night at Mount Pelican.
Fridays, which one?
Right,
For you guys.
yes, and it's hybrid,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
I know Thursday, you should.
Thursday I have
I'll
on
be
my
at the meeting.
schedule.
I'll be at the
That's a
meeting.
seven.
Words in that time.
Nikki, do you mind just going through the other ones
Moving
that
it from
Act
our
171
to a bigger
housing
space,
targets?
anticipate-
What are the other ones that people usually are updating?
For Act 181, there's a new environmental justice goal. So this is around,
Is that in 181 or is it separate?
it is.
One is one eighty one
I
seven
said,
one.
when was this put in? Today?
Act 181?
No,
Oh.
this new goal.
This new goal is part of Act 181.
Okay.
So it's environmental justice goal.
Yes,
The words are.
Because this is from the Global Summit of Montreal, what triggered all this, right?
I don't know. I think environmental justice is widespread within planning. But it basically, an example would be, like wide range of public input methods, and accessible outreach, emergency, communication when you're having, when there's a flood and you have different ways to reach folks who might not be able to, get communication through the internet or other ways. So These are just areas where you're,
All this have to be in our hazard.
this is just one of the goals. So you could have one simple goal in your town plan that says we are.
Increasing communications.
Equity and planning and reaching wide range of. I can read you the exact goal if you'd like. It is goal 15 now. And it is,
That's in 181, you said?
yes, it is, but it's goal, it's
Goal 15.
to equitably distribute environmental benefits and burdens as described in chapter 72, which is about environmental justice. So again, that's, oh, yeah, but this has to be part of your planning now. This is, and it's a simple goal. It's not, that's what we're telling.
So basically communicating with the people when an emergency comes up. Having clean water. And having parks for people to communicate is an equitable place for everyone to. Utilize our environmental resources.
Yeah, you're just strengthening your public engagement methods, and. You're prioritizing support for households, that are facing climate risk. So, folks probably, I think Facein, you don't have a large, residential pool. So it might not be as big of a pool for you.
When I read Act 181 in this phrase, I interpreted it to mean we need to have a diversity of parks spread out, not just in certain areas. And I thought Facein does have diverse parks throughout the town. And in terms of environmental risk, we do have some floodplain. That's what I'm talking with Rachel Czar about some floodplains and some river corridor stuff, which I'm working on trying to understand that better. But to me, I thought we were in line with what 181 is expecting.
Yeah, it's not as much about the providing the parks, it's really providing support for the folks who live here and accessibility to the planning that's going on in your town.
So if we give everyone access to the survey,
Yes,
we are providing access to people
yes.
in
And
the community.
Zoom our meetings.
We Zoom our meetings.
We're recording on Zoom. So everyone has access to it, participate or review.
So we're good.
yes, but it's, so part of the town plan is you're putting goals into your town plan for each chapter. So that is, that's just kind of the basics of it. Let me go back because I know if you haven't done a plan before, I just want to make sure I'm covering areas. Because it seems like.
So we have all these goals and objectives for each
Yeah,
chapter,
we do.
and so all these goals and objectives, this has been a question and I have a very terrible answer. When they ask me about it, I'm like, we should keep it in there because it gives us the right to do it.
Yeah.
But each of these goals and objectives are based on something like goal 15 environment.
Right, oh, no.
So wouldn't it be best if when we update our town plan and we list our goals and objectives to link it to the title of the goal that we're having, so we're not questioning ourselves? Or when all 5 of them disappear and I retire, that the next group of PC members aren't going, well, what's going on with these goals and objectives?
And I think having read your goals and objectives, it is pretty long, so I
Yeah.
think editing is, and really realizing what you wanna focus on. Because it could be edited, like, you could tie it in with each goal. And also create actions along with it, because a lot of towns, if you don't have a capital improvement plan, which is kind of your budgeting and short-term goal list for what improvements you're doing in your town, then an implementation plan in your town plan is what the state recommends and what we also do as a regional planning commission. So what I mean by that is, you have your goal and a strategy and then an action, and then that action you can have a timeline for, like, because it's an 8-year process. A priority level, is it low, high, ongoing work? And then you can also list, and this is like a chart, where you're having these along with your action, the funding partners or whoever's involved, like planning commission, select board, Conservation Commission. I don't know how many different committees you have here. but-
You have our, town plan in front of you?
I do, yeah.
I'm
Well,
looking at page 122,
Okay,
goal 8.3. So we have a goal. And each goal, that goal has two objectives. Under objective 1, there's the objective, and then there's strategies.
yeah, lots of strategy.
And then you go to objective 2. And then we have implementation strategies.
Oh, where's the implementation?
It's under objective 2,
Yeah, but we have them under 8.4, you have them.
but we only have strategies under objective 1.
Oh, yeah, you do, that's interesting.
So is that just a?
So that's, I mean, that's part of it. Again, if you wanted to turn this into a chart, I can share a chart that we use, and I'm working with other towns on these tables. And it's just a really clear way to kind of see what you're working on or what the next planning commission can be working on or pick out.
So like a Venn diagram, is that what you're?
It's just a simple chart with, you know, you have your column for your action, and then the column for, timeline, priority, funding partners, and then responsible, you know, members.
Now that I've been talking
Yeah.
about, it's an accountability chart. Like
It's not
granularity.
super user friendly the way it's currently,
So there's no difference between strategies and implementation strategies.
just.
No.
Understand.
Well, I made,
You see,
right, it's, I mean, strategies and objectives can be the same, or strategy or goal and objective is kind of.
Well, I mean, implementation strategies are encourage
you,
the retention of adequate undeveloped land base to allow sustainable fuel wood production, whereas a strategy is. Planning Commission and Facing Conservation Commission should identify and map those areas in the town that are most suitable for renewable energy, like. I don't know. You're saying we should get rid of implementation?
no, I just thought that was a little weird how one section has implementation and the other one doesn't.
It might have been a typo, or
Yes.
maybe they.
Well, they did it in 8.3.
They did it in 4, it's backwards.
Yeah, but as Jason pointed out, I think it's, thank you for pointing this out. I was not aware of it. But it looks to me like semantics. That I look at some chapters and it's all implementation strategies, the verbs are the same, so I think. I'm still struggling.
Oh, all of 9.8 is implementation strategies.
Yes, but I'm still struggling with what you're trying to tell us to do with this equity business.
Okay.
Because I just read the Act 181,
Yeah.
okay, and I thought we were okay,
Mhm.
but I think you're telling us we have to do something, and I still don't know what we have to do.
Well, to be honest, I'm not sure if you have a goal currently in the plan that would say, you know, provide equitable access to, let me just, what it was, equitably distribute environmental benefits in Berkeley, right? So,
I would say we don't, because that wasn't really a key word back in 2020.
right,
But I'm trying, so does that mean that we have to, for example, go around and do like the education bill and make sure everybody has the same land?
the same, no. So let's just say you had a mobile home in a flood hazard area, a mobile home park in a flood hazard area. You wouldn't want to plan for that now, because
Yeah.
it's.
So if we have a zone, we have a zoning regulation that is flood zone, I think, and if we can get it improved with those. It's a 21-page document they have. Are you familiar with it?
Which one of this?
It's called the River Corridor FEMA
Oh,
thing. It's meeting a bylaw.
yeah, so I was
So if
gonna
we
talk
put, if
about
we
that.
put that in here, our document,
Okay.
do we meet that need? Because we would not allow, well, I don't believe the Development Review Board would allow a mobile home park in a flood zone. Because our zoning says not to have that.
Well, our flood hazard overlay district is very restrictive of any type of, and our
Yeah.
flood hazard overlay district mimics our special flood hazard areas.
Yeah,
So it's an overlay, it's
and,
same.
and as long as we update that district with the map that shows 2025 or 2026 data rather than the old data that's in here, are we meeting that objective?
For environmental justice,
Yes.
I think if you provide a simple goal for public engagement, that would meet the requirement of the environmental justice.
So this would just be a whole new chapter.
No, no,
Goals and
it could be
objectives.
part of your land use section. That's what other towns are just putting a goal in land use.
I don't mean to be really difficult, it just comes naturally, but,
I'm gonna quote you on that.
Act 181.
Okay.
I don't see how that is equitable environmental justice. When we're looking at allowing ski areas and lakes to continue to grow in environmentally sensitive areas. And we're asking farmers and private landowners to be restricted so severely. Can you share with me and elucidate the thinking on this?
Well, we're not responsible for the tier 3.
But you're asking us to implement this into our town plan.
Well, that's part of the state goals. So as a region, we adopt those as well.
Are we required by law
By
to do
law,
that?
I think if you want a regionally approved plan, then you would have to meet the requirements. So
What does a regionally approved plan, how does that benefit the town?
Allows us to get grants.
Yes. You get,
How many grants have we gotten in the past 10 years?
yeah, right.
We have to ask the road people because
They help me get it along.
We get very little road money.
So helps with FEMA money too. There's.
So, Brady, to answer your question, I've read, actually, I promise you I'd read it. Okay, and I read it, and I'm actually in the form, it's section right here that says environmental justice.
It's a big,
Okay, and it says a lot of stuff the state's gotta do,
yeah.
okay?
The outreach,
It's,
yeah.
this agencies shall adopt and create, its state agencies will do this, advisory council will do that. Agency of Natural Resources, in consultation with the Interagency Environmental Justice Committee and the Environmental Justice Advisory Council shall issue guidance. Okay, we haven't gotten that. Covered agencies, so do this. It's just agencies. Then it gets to the real thing here. It says the rulemaking, they're gonna develop rules by 2027, 2028. There's gonna be environmental justice advisory, that's not us. And then it gets to, and it says, there will be a map. Okay, it says on or before January 1st, 2025, and it's pushed to 2027, a mapping tool shall be available for use by the public as well as by the state government, an environmental justice mapping tool.
Are you
So-
interested in that map? I can write that down.
Yeah.
So that it's,
Yeah,
Just trying to see how we map something like that.
yeah, so the way I read it is, we don't have to do anything other than what we have open access to everybody. We've got parks spread out throughout the town. I see that. If we make sure our floodplain and river corridor section zones are up to date. And if we perhaps have to help the people that are in those zones through the FEMA relocation, well, we've already had 2 houses already been located for FEMA. Maybe that's what we have to do, but I think we're doing this. Now, if we need to put a word to say, Facein ascribes to environmental justice principles, we can do that,
yeah.
but I don't think we need a new chapter.
No, you don't need to.
Okay.
But what I would say, just about the river corridor bylaws, you have interim river corridor bylaws adopted for your town right
Do
now.
right now.
Yes. So what, Lincoln Frosca and Brian Boyd are doing, they're, working with towns who want to adopt.
I wrote a note to Brian Boyd today.
Okay.
I've talked to him, I've talked with him.
So,
Wait, what?
You got him on the phone?
No, I've emailed him.
What? And he replied back?
Rachel has, or,
Okay.
yeah, Rachel's up.
If you hear from him, like, that's like hitting the lottery.
Brian,
Yeah.
his deadline's tomorrow, so you might hear from him a little bit more. Okay. But it's been, but with the permanent river corridor bylaws, that's an advantage for your town because you set your regulatory, what's the word, provisions or for river corridor, development, so, that
We
you
have 50
regulate
foot
that.
buffer, and
Yeah.
100 foot buffer.
Yeah, and in 2028, when the Flood Safety Act comes into.
That's 121.
That is, yes. So the state will be taking over regulating the river.
It's Rose Watts, I just wrote
If we allow it.
and Brian. She's
You
given,
said
Whoa,
something
hey, hold on.
20 minutes ago
Mhm.
that I just wanna make sure I heard correctly. You said that by and large our goals and objectives, and this is how I'm interpreting what you said, I'm not directly quoting you.
Mhm.
Maybe a little wordy, and we could reduce the number of words. And that Jason's suggestion to maybe link our goals and objectives with the state, I'm gonna say statutes, I don't think that's the right word.
The state goals.
The state goals, so that the future planning commission can be realized, but your suggestion for all of our chapters and land use goals and objectives is to sort of tighten them up a little bit and then maybe be a little more targeted to the state goals.
The state goals are basically supporting each chapter.
Okay.
You know, the required elements, you have
Okay.
them, and then the state goals, so they're all represented in your chapters currently, but you need to update it. right?
Yeah.
So, and based on Act 181, which is the environmental justice.
Environmental justice,
But,
which is how we got there.
but also the future land use map. So another thing with a regionally approved plan, if you were to want a growth area in Basin, then you would need a regionally approved plan.
in my understanding, you
So-
came here about 6 months ago, and told us about the tiers. And we had you may recall, we had a conversation about the possibility of some tier 1A and 1B. And my understanding, Jason, is we've had some
We
conversation.
don't have a growth center, so we're
We
not.
don't have
And-
a
and-
village
and it's-
center.
and it's, we don't have areas that are suitable for that. So we are a tier 2 and a tier 3 area
At this time.
that at this time, and we've had this conversation with the select board as well. And you've had some conversation, so that's where we're at.
This time.
Yeah.
Because Sugar Bush wasn't really all that interested in it either.
Pardon?
Sugar Bush
Wasn't interested.
wasn't particularly,
Okay.
because there's a lot,
If they
there's a lot that goes into it.
If they were interested, they could get,
No, but
Tier
we
1B.
would go, we would be doing it on their behalf, there would be a lot. If they had some sort of plan to make that a growth center at the base of the mountain, other than what's already there. If they had. They have their community system, which is for Mount Allen, water wastewater, but if you were to create a growth center, well, we need. What are we gonna do about water wastewater for that growth center? And it's gonna need a little bit more than a community system.
For the chair thing first.
I just wanted.
well, that's what I'm wondering.
And then also-
Tier 1B, you get. a
If they go tier
lot
one,
easier for
1A,
them to-
1B, then also their
But
active
you also have to
don't
hire
go away.
staff to manage it.
I now get the role
Tier
and
1B,
responsibility
As a
of
town, okay.
1A.
managing Act 250 permits and the town's not ready to
Yeah.
let one zoning administrator handle that.
So right, now they'd have less hoops to jump through.
If there's-
So I'm just basically saying, Nikki, that you came, you gave us an action item, we discussed it, we followed through. And we believe we only have tier 2 and tier 3 areas in this town.
Right, yes, yeah, and that's what I'm sure it's being that,
Mhm.
when you see it tomorrow. I haven't seen it recently either, so it will be new to me tomorrow as well.
And is that door closed forever on tier 1?
No,
Okay.
no, it's, it will be an ongoing process. If a town wants to opt in, then they can.
That was one of my
they
questions
can do that.
last summer when she did that, is like, because it was really just about, the timeline was about getting that map for November done.
Right,
But we can opt in on this at any time for the most part.
yeah, and I think realistically, the only growth potential is around your ski resorts, right?
Ski resorts and possibly Irisville,
But we had a conversation.
not really
with the
though,
select
it's
board.
up against Bragg Hill.
They're saying it's tough,
But I think, Sugar Bush, Lincoln, like, they have I guess, is it a community or wastewater facility? So they actually did have a center if they wanted to,
That's warm.
yeah, but I'm just comparing.
They may have something,
Yeah.
they've got, it's more.
Yeah,
So, I mean, 181 is, so are you saying that 181 and our town plan are really, really, really hand in hand now? Because 181 has changed everything about our town plan? No.
I didn't hear that.
No, it just has elements like the
There's a
environment.
lot of
Are there any other goals that 181's adding to forest integrity?
it's just the future land use map, which is what the regional planning commission is doing. But it's, there's no requirements for you aside from having a future land use map, and it doesn't it should align with the regional future land use map. Moretown just has, their future land use by watershed, zones.
Was that?
Well,
What was that?
if I look at the
More than-
current future land use map in our plan, it's written by CVRPC. Okay, so I would assume, once we get this updated map, it'll go into here. And we won't make our own. All we gotta do is have input into this map with the CVRPC to make sure it's consistent with, as we see, the town plan. But it's kind of an iterative process, and I guess you're saying this draft will be available tomorrow?
The regional future land use map will be available. So this is your actual town bound, that's actually your zoning map that's being represented there. But it's the same map, but I think as you move into your new update, yes, you should have Brian do your future land use map.
When can
With
we
your-
expect to get those?
Get what? The future land use map?
Yeah, could we,
Well, so you're in an early stage of your planning, so I think within, if you have a request to Brian, I would say 6 months before you plan to go to
Right,
public
so we
hearing.
got,
Since 2024.
well, we've got a request in on a bunch of maps, but it's not, I mean, there's a lot of just stuff that we can use to work on our town plan, but we haven't even done a request for the land use map or
Right,
anything like that, so.
Yeah.
Are you saying that we should probably request something from him 6 months in advance, prior to when we need it?
at least, yeah, I would, so right now, we have 2 town plan updates that we're working on. And he will start the maps for those, but he can do the maps relatively quickly, but it's been on his radar for the last half of the year.
And this land use map, it's basically gonna be, I mean, regional, is it gonna be just the tiers? What's
The
on this,
future land use map?
yeah, future land use.
Man, future land use map. Can someone explain to me like,
It's
It's this, right?
use of what,
Well, that's not what it's supposed to be, that's basically our zoning districts.
but it says.
I know, but if you look at our
Yeah.
zoning district map, it's the same.
that's how they wanted to represent it. But it's, land use map shows your recreation areas, your conserved land, but this is on regional mapping, not the tier 3. That's where it's gonna.
so a
Those
future,
are rural areas.
so we're not trying to predict what people are gonna do on the land in the future. On a future land use map, like, I don't mean to be difficult.
Naturally.
Wouldn't our zoning districts work for the land?
But like, I mean, it's like. So it's like, where do we see development is gonna happen?
Well, so currently, your residential, like, development has occurred in your rural residential
Yeah.
district, which is very broad.
Yeah,
So that with the new Act 181 road rule, that's really gonna drastically reduce that amount of sprawl of residential development.
but
Okay?
correct me
So-
if I'm wrong. People who have long driveways continue to have long driveways.
Absolutely.
It's if someone wants to buy like 150-acre piece of property and put a wiggly driveway for whatever, an extended period, like half a mile. They would have to go through Act 250 in order to build that driveway, whereas right now, they just have to make sure they don't go past steep slopes, they go to the development review board, and they can build that long driveway to build their house on the top. And what 181 wants to do is force them to build their house within 600 feet from the road, 800 feet from
The
the road,
road rule is 800 feet.
800 feet,
And
Network of
more
driveways.
than one house is at maximum 2,000.
maximum 2,000. So the only people that would be affected by this are someone who's taking a virgin piece of land and developing it.
Well, most of your town is in tier 2,
Okay,
so it affects your whole town boundary.
well, the road rule affects everyone.
Yeah.
Tier 3 is wildlife corridors and headwaters of streams and stuff like that.
Yes, significant.
But the road rule is a huge impact, but we don't have, correct me if I'm wrong, we don't have like a large amount of plots that are undeveloped that are developable in this town. We have
Unless you
a,
do a long driveway to.
what?
Unless steep, you've got to traverse in order to get in there.
Yeah,
So
800 feet like that.
No, I mean, my
It'll shut
driveway
us
is
down.
longer than 800 feet.
What about if
Sorry.
your existing driveway is longer than that and you need to amend your Act 250 permit? To make an addition or to change your, landscaping or add trails?
You might know more about that, but I think if you're trying to extend it, then yeah, you'd have to.
Yeah, you have to get
Is this where the
I have a,
No.
I have a, yes.
So in effect, think about this. 98% of all Act 250 permits go through, is that correct?
How many?
98%? I believe that's
That's
the
the
number that's
statistic.
been quoted.
Yeah.
So it adds significantly to the cost.
Yeah.
So it's the gentrification of the rest of our state and our town.
Well, I mean, that's an opinion, I can't.
I have a question that she had brought up, so.
And the equitable.
So the road rule is 800 feet or network of road and driveway 2,000 feet. So someone has a house that's up a 900 foot driveway, whatever.
Mhm.
And they wanna go and build an ADU that it's 75 feet that way. Is that, I know you might not, as you're,
Yeah,
I know
that's
I know you're a planner, so you should have some idea.
Yeah.
Like, would that trigger the Act 250 or is it just the new roads? So you have an existing road, but then you're gonna have a,
Building an ADU at your home that's beyond 800 feet.
so will now that trigger,
They're saying is a farmer who's got a field and he's got a road to the back 40 and he wants to give it to his kid. Kicks off the road rule,
But the
So-
road's existing,
but the road's existing.
so
But the ADU, if it's attached to the house, that's.
but it's not attached to that, I mean,
Okay.
it's saying, you just might have to have a driveway that goes 70 feet that way for maybe
I don't.
ledge or something like that, it's not ADUs are attached to the house,
Right.
they're on the site,
As
there
soon
just
as
could
they,
be on a detached garage.
Shut down,
So
because I'm
it's
not
a road
sure,
that
so ADU.
goes out to the.
Well, just in general, if you already have an existing 900 foot driveway, you've gotta build a 100 foot extension, now does that trigger the whole 900 foot driveway? Or is it just new driveway or new road that triggers it, even though there's already 800, 900 feet
Yeah.
existing?
So when I'm reading the road rule section here on page. I don't know what page it is, it's in page 26. It says jurisdiction shall not apply unless the length of any single road is greater than 800 feet. Or the length is more than 2,000 feet of everything altogether. And to answer your question, Freddie, my interpretation is that routine maintenance and minor repairs shall not constitute an improvement. Routine maintenance shall include replacing a culvert or ditch, applying new stone, grading, or making repairs after adverse weather. Routine maintenance shall not include changing the size of the road, changing the location or layout, or adding pavement.
Yeah, it's.
So if someone
Not really,
already
it's
has an
just,
existing
that's just improving the
Right.
existing road.
out there.
If you're adding
Put
new roads,
gravel.
100 feet.
in some ditches, to me, that's.
It's so true.
But if they add to it
If
at
they,
all.
if they cut trees or have to make some cuts.
Aren't there farm
Or like,
exemptions
yeah.
for agricultural, like, so he
I
wants to
believe-
build a house, obviously
Okay.
dwelling is in a farm building, but if they were to build a farm road to go to a feeding green or something like that, it would fall under RAPs.
Yeah, there's also exclusion.
And it wouldn't trigger Act 250,
Not that.
but if it was going to a dwelling unit, because a dwelling unit is not considered a farm structure. It would trigger Act.
The conversion of a road used for farming or forestry purposes that meets the requirements of a subdivision shall constitute development. So
Say that again?
the conversion of a road used for farming or forestry purposes that also meets the requirements of this section that we've just been reading shall constitute development.
Yes.
So you can have a forestry road, as long as you go through the AMPs, and you can have farming roads. Okay, and you can improve them, but if you convert them to a resident, then it constitutes development.
Or if that road goes to a dwelling unit and that dwelling unit.
My understanding is trail maintenance, if you use heavy equipment,
Mhm.
that kicks off Act 250,
I'm not-
building or maintenance,
Yeah.
Where'd that come from, Brady?
somewhere in Act 181.
It didn't see that. Heavy equipment.
Well, there's the acreage thing.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't wanna go into
It goes deep.
I just wanna, so are we talking about Are we still doing a town?
Yes.
Valuation, or are we talking about 181?
Well, I think that the importance is us understanding 181 and all the implications of it when we go into our town plan, so that we aren't writing something that's
Absolutely.
opposite. Unless we tell the state to mind their business.
Well, yeah, so between the May 14th meeting that's happening in this room where the land use, what's the board of land use?
LURB.
Yeah, where he's coming to talk about 181, like, I just feel like the goals to get from Nikki tonight are like to understand what the statutory requirements of our town plan are, so we can adhere to that. 181 is an important role in our town plan, but I just, after we've spent some time looking at it, just making sure we're gonna hit all the other stuff that's correct, is that fair?
Okay, so Langford, if that's the question, Nikki, do you have a checklist
Yeah,
that you
let's
use
circle back and.
to answer?
And I think another simple way, go ahead, Nikki, you can find it, but I was gonna say, just the way my brain is working on this is, you know, previous town plans had to jibe with Act 250. Right, and if Act 181 is implemented and becomes a law, our town plan is gonna have to fit with 181. It's not, again, we're not reinventing the wheel here. Our town plans for decades now have had to abide by what the state says in terms of Act 250. We're gonna have to do the same thing with Act 181.
What about towns
It
that
doesn't
have
become more
chosen-
burdensome, it's just a
Change.
tweaking.
What about towns that have chosen not to enact zoning? And how
Yeah.
does this impact them?
Which part? Like, are you talking about land use planning? Well, I mean, you have to be a little more specific, like, I think
They have to comply with 181 still.
yeah, but like a town without zoning is just, I guess they are relying on the state because they're not enforcing anything in their town, right? They're not, I'm working with Orange right now, but it's kind of loose. It's just, it's like supporting, encouraging. There's nothing that's direct because it isn't being regulated.
So how does someone in a town without land use regulations subdivide their property and get it recorded on the deed? Like, cause to do a subdivision.
Wait, how does?
So if I live in a town that doesn't have zoning
Right.
and I own 100 acres and I wanna chop it up into 10-acre lots and put in driveways to get to all of them, I'd have to do an Act 250 permit, right?
And you have to get all the state permits and.
So the barrier there is I can't just go talk to the town clerk and be like, here, I've subdivided my property into 10 lots. They'd be like,
Well, you
where-
look at your subdivision regulations and go through your DR.
But if they don't have zoning, they wouldn't have subdivision regulations.
so without zoning, right? Like, I know this is a kind of difficult question, but like, if you don't have zoning and you want to subdivide a big piece of property, the barrier is Act 250 and the state, that you're not going to be able to sell those pieces of property unless you can talk to the town clerk and get it like recorded. And to get it recorded, you need an Act 250 permit. That's where the barrier is that, I know that this is.
Why is this on point right now for what we're trying to do?
Well, because we're talking about, she's asking a question of
I'm just
places
trying to
in the zoning.
understand how it all plays together.
How does that?
I knocked Nikki off track and Michael, I thought it asked a really good question about having some kind of checklist.
Yeah.
Yes, all right, let's go back
Can we
to
get back
that.
to that,
I
please?
think these are bigger issues.
Yeah, I know, I would like to talk about the checklist. Let's please
Yeah,
talk
let's
about the
go
checklist.
back.
Let's try to stay
Um,
on the rail.
So what I really am here to help, I'm here to support you in your next town plan update.
Right.
So I really want to hear like where we could lend support. Is it in,
Checklist.
it's your concerns lands map, it seems like.
So we have all these goals and objectives, all these strategies, say
Starts
we need
instead
to
of
tighten them up
verbiage.
and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
But if it's not in the land use, so one of my thoughts was if it's not really in the town plan, you can't really have it in your land use regulations. Your land use regulations has to jibe.
yes, any,
So does that matter whether it's in the body or in the goals and in the objectives? Does it matter?
it can be in both,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, but it's reflective of your regulation, yeah, and any Act 250.
I believe that's a
If
question we all
you're,
have.
if a property or project's going under Act 250, then they will look to your town plan for information on that land and in your town plan.
So the town plan is the source document that drives what's in land use regulations and what you need an Act 250 permit.
It's your aspirational document, right?
Aspirational
It's your living document that has what you're intending to do in the next 8 years.
And when I ask the Google, what are the Vermont restrictions, it talks about like 24 VSA 4382.
Yeah.
Those are like the mandatory elements that need to exist in a town plan.
Yeah, so that is your land use chapter,
Yeah,
your transportation chapter, utility facility plan, your natural resources, your energy plan. I think a previous planning commission before my time and our current energy planner had said that there was some energy planning here. So that might be an area, if that's a priority, to revisit and to talk with our energy planner about how to set your goals for that. If you wanted, do you have any energy kind of planning in Mad River?
Yeah, we have a energy for transportation energy chapter.
Mhm,
And in our survey, we have a number of questions, energy related.
nice.
that's like solar, wind, that's the energy we're talking about.
Yeah,
right? Just so we're all on the
do you
same
want
page.
to have do you want regulations to encourage new construction to be to meet the RBES, what is it called?
Yeah,
RBES,
Yeah, yeah.
CVS.
Yeah, yeah.
Building.
Is that the latest and greatest?
That's
Do you have
the-
the RBS book?
Yes,
Good you
dude.
go.
Okay, he's got better stuff than I got.
He's got the good stuff.
So our energy is in chapter 8 along
Yeah.
with community facilities.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Does it need to be a standalone chapter or it could,
Energy?
yeah,
Generally, yes. Yeah,
Okay.
It is, yeah.
Mhm.
That's on the checklist. Energy needs its own chapter.
Yes. And
Can't no
economy is
longer
another
friends
chapter.
with transportation.
Yeah, economic development is another chapter, which you already have. I mean, I think rewriting a plan is a lot of work. So,
What's the shortest plan you've seen?
Berlin had a very concise plan, in 2019. So that's what they have right now.
So
But it's
Berlin,
gonna be
That-
longer.
that
on this new
Berlin
update,
plan.
but it is
Berlin
very
town
concise.
and more towns done.
more towns is
And they
done.
had Karen Horn working on that, right?
Karen and Carol.
Mhm. Yeah, we just, approved that.
Okay, so Nikki, I'm not taking good notes. My mind is trying to synthesize what you're telling us. And I'm struggling.
Yeah.
So you're saying we've got this chapter, that chapter, this chapter. Do you have a checklist that says this is the table of contents you should have? When you review our plans, are there a checklist that you're gonna use to verify that we're meeting stats?
So I've sent this before and I'll send it again. This is your checklist that we look at when we review for regional approval. So I can send this to you. It shows you a breakdown of every element and every
Okay.
goal.
That'd be useful. I think so.
And
That's what we need.
I think you should probably start with a chapter by chapter to not overwhelm yourself with all of them at the same time. That
Yeah,
might-
yeah.
And you have your survey going.
Yeah.
So you can look through that, see what are the priorities you're seeing in your town.
Yeah. But
And
that's the framework that we can construct our
Yeah.
plan around. That's
Yeah.
good. And we can take
Yeah.
parts of this, we can break it up if necessary to fit. We can put in a few buzzwords that are current.
do you want to give me your email so I can make
I
sure you
think it
get
goes to
it?
Jason, right?
Yeah.
You can just send it to me.
Okay.
Right.
I'll
look after them again.
It's just to us all.
Jason's on it.
Yeah, it's daunting and I wish I could explain it more concisely, but I think the best thing to do is just start by looking at land use.
Yeah,
If that's your,
I think, Nikki, there's
Yeah.
3 things we're saying. You're giving us a checklist, great.
okay.
We need updated maps. Okay, 2.
Yes.
And then there's charts and data in here, which may need to be updated. A lot of these charts, like building permits, subdivisions.
Those are
develop-
probably all,
That's all in
those
the
are
town
probably all.
plan. I mean, that goes in the town report every year.
Yeah, I haven't done chart ways, but yeah, that did have stuff,
You get
zoning
that with you,
permits.
Jason?
I
that?
Yeah.
pulled all the, I
Zoning-
pulled all the charts out.
Zoning permits and stuff would be in-house stuff.
Okay, so the two things we need from Nikki is a checklist and updated charts. And then I think the
So
third thing is.
Don't forget maps.
We don't do those for you
Oh,
unless,
no.
we do we can get your data and we can update your forest integrity map, the required
Forest
maps to the regional purpose. So but we're not, we have to put that on the schedule, so it's not something that we can do
Okay.
like right away.
I think what I'm hearing from the team, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, we need as many maps on your schedule as you can do. We need it on the schedule now, so we can incorporate them in the plan. And that includes the conservation map and,
No, but it's,
Trails.
we got time on that, cause it's a
Yeah,
6 month
so-
wait on maps.
okay,
But we want the maps that we've asked for,
yes.
cause that's gonna help us plan.
Tell me what maps you've asked.
Oh, it's a bunch of them and it's.
Can you pull up your email?
Gonna be, I can't, it's not my
And
computer.
did Brian give you
I
a?
think,
Like a-
March, cause he's gonna have most of them ready for town meeting day on March 4th.
From this past March?
Yeah.
And the only one he said there would be delay on was the conserved land maps.
So you're still waiting for.
Or all the, what I was looking for was a digital copy of all the maps that are in our town plans. I don't have the digital copy of the ones that are in here. So
Yeah.
they can just review what we already have, other than the little square here. And then there were roads with roads and trails and. It was gonna be like 5 different large format maps, but then he was also gonna create, me and Brian coined it as a digital Mylar, which was gonna be very similar to what you see on like interactive map viewer, that was gonna incorporate all the different layers, so we could pull it up here without having to go on interactive map viewer.
Here's the map. I have an email from Jason, February 2nd. From Brian Voigt. He is working and getting me the digital copy of the maps in our previous town plans. I only have a few of them. Here are the items mentioned. Based in boundaries, roads, waterways, streams, zoning districts, contour lines, special flood hazard areas, river corridors, wetlands, conservation. Those kind of things. That's what we've asked. They could be hard copy. with
And he
all
knows,
those
we had a whole sit down consultation through his online meeting thing that he does. And we basically broke it down to actually, I think it was 5 large format maps plus this digital thing.
Okay, so it's on his radar.
It's on his radar, but we're coming up on May and they were supposed to be here March or.
Well, I will be realistic with you, you're not gonna see those. It's
Well-
not any time in the next few weeks.
I'm gonna be honest though, if I send an email or if I make a phone call and leave a message,
Mhm.
some feedback would be.
I will talk to him.
I called every single day for weeks.
Yeah. I
He
will talk
just
to him.
changed, yeah.
Oh, I've left messages. I think Nancy is your,
She has retired. We have Barbara.
You retired.
You sent her.
I was leaving her a message every day. She and I were becoming good friends.
Poor Nancy.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, is just the like, feedback instead of just being like, it was disappeared. Like you send them an email or.
At the courtesy of a response,
Yeah,
because it feels very disrespectful.
I'll talk to him. I mean, I can't, I'm just the messenger, but I realize, I know how
Busy and
Over-
I get it.
what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think.
Overburdened.
He's just he has so
Overwhelmed.
much going on and he's doing a lot of maps right now, so. And we're updating our regional plan and the future land use map.
Okay, but in March,
Yeah,
March of 2024 is when I started asking for this stuff.
yeah, that's
That's a long time ago.
That it's been that long, so. But what I think, you're needing data as well, so let's start thinking about that this summer because we will not be able to get to any data for new towns until the summer, most likely. So we can start putting that on the books for, any land use data you would need and whatever's updating your current town.
So we need to get you what we want
Yes,
for there.
But Jason did in that email, right?
I don't have a data list. Did you get the data list?
Data.
Oh, no, data.
Yeah.
So maybe that's where we need to start, by going through the town plan and gathering that information.
And to help
And
you,
getting
we
that
also
to you.
have.
The
a
data you asked
standard
before at one
list.
point, but it was kind
I'm
of put on
sorry,
the
I
back burner,
missed
was
the
like
last of
full-time
that.
homes, part-time homes,
Yeah.
stuff like that. I have a source to get that. It's Mad River Planning District and they have it.
Great.
Cause that annual report that
Yeah, the data
Sam,
report.
it's in there, so they had this data, now it's just not in their annual report. But if they
Mhm.
have the data to predict the lines, that means they have. the data.
Okay, good. Okay, that'll help us.
You with your town plan as well, don't they? The Mad River Valley District, that's what your town plan says.
I suppose they will I suppose they're gonna help us get some of this data, I mean,
Yeah.
they better.
But we also have an RPC template of standardized data that we pull for every town, so we
Oh,
will
nice.
get that to you. That you can analyze and make into your own chart.
Do you have a list going of how other towns have added stuff for Act 181 and the new items?
Yeah,
With
I
like
can,
actual language we can just potentially use?
I will share that with you too.
One more time.
Jason, should I resend this email to you for this data request? It's from November of 25.
It's the houses, the
Yeah.
part-times, they just got put on the back burner because it's really hard for me to get
Yeah.
it. I need someone else to pull in. Because honestly, when you look at part-time housing, it's really breaking down homestead declarations.
Yeah, that's flawed data. Like I've been striving to figure out how to answer that question.
Yeah,
And the only way is we're gonna have to reach out to Washington Electric and Green Mountain Power and have them run an algorithm for the energy usage for houses, and then they're gonna have to give us that data. Like, that's the only reliable way, and my cousin's a data scientist, and I talked to her about it, is to actually get the power company to tell you
wow.
which houses are using, because the homestead stuff, there's a tax rate difference, so people are not always filling out their homestead exemptions. Hopefully, everyone in this room filled it out. It's on the Vermont website. It's due tomorrow or the
Yeah.
next day or today. But that data, like, that's the most, to me, I wanna know part-time and full-time
The
in
homestead
That's-
exemption, does it?
No, I wanna know how many beds are empty every night in this town. That's the one piece of information that I would value, and I don't know how to get it. Cause I don't think homestead data is the right way to do
You want a vacancy, right? Is that what you're looking for?
it. So we have a lot of, so the town plan said 40% of houses were year-round in 2020, and 60% were. People who came up on the weekends or for short stays, part-time. That's what the town plan in 2020 said, right? But COVID happened, there was a large influx of people that were occupying their houses that were vacation homes and turning them into primary residences. And some of them couldn't hack it and have left, as you can see by the school enrollment and the kids that have left. But that piece of data is one that I truly desire. But every way that I've looked at it, the data's flawed.
Okay.
Just, do you understand, am I
And the
explaining
vacancy
myself?
I
rate,
agree.
and like a
I
vacancy
agree
rate
that
for us
it's
isn't gonna be the
really
same as a vacancy
Vital
rate for a
information to
fair.
have.
That piece of information of how many empty
Right.
beds in Facein there are on an average Wednesday is something that I care about.
I wanna get down to that'll helpful, because what's bugging me is I do not understand how our state is losing population.
Yeah,
And yet I hear this constant drum of we need more houses.
yeah, this is,
I don't understand that.
yeah,
I don't understand that's a conundrum.
we have
But
houses,
you can't put them anywhere.
we have houses,
Or church.
there's beds that are empty every night, and we need housing. It's like, well, that's a really difficult question, and this is a
For
conversation I
less
have,
people, this is what I don't understand.
yeah, this is a conversation I have with a lot of people.
Or is it less people because they don't have them?
Well,
Well,
yeah,
our population is we're losing, our state is losing population.
yeah, but not you have to look at the big picture of the state of Vermont. Not just condo world that is Sugar Bush, base of Sugar Bush and all that.
We're an anomaly.
Stock is here, we're an anomaly, right? You have to go out to the corners of Vermont and realize that the population loss there is devastating and there's not a lot of housing stuff.
And you've
So-
gotta look at deaths and births.
Yeah, so I mean.
And it drops in
It's not, I understand, at first blush, you're like, oh yeah, gosh, we've got a population crisis here, all the young people are moving away. But shit, we gotta build more housing, that's.
The disconnect.
Yeah, disconnect,
So,
but it's not that simple.
and that's a very good point. And so maybe our town plan doesn't need to be encouraging development of houses. If we have a large empty
Well, but then,
capacity,
but
if
then-
they need to be other places.
Still dealing with private property. right?
again, though, but you're also, again, you gotta realize that the valley, you know, we have, what we have here is not just, we have a worker shortage and a skilled worker shortage, you know, Sugar Bush can't physically hire, they have housing for them. And they have the money for them, but they can't hire lift mechanics, because there aren't qualified lift mechanics who wanna move to Vermont. Right, so there's so much more complexity
Yes.
to the issue than just, you know.
Adding more.
We shouldn't add more housing because we have all this empty housing stock here. Those are people that come up on the weekend, that's their right to use their property, they wanna use their property, if they wanted to leave it vacant. And not put workers in there, that's, you know, we can't do anything about that. But there's so many more, there's so many more variables. To the equation than just simply, God, we have a lot of housing stock around here, let's stop building it, you know, we don't really.
Our schools have to recognize the trades.
Yeah, totally. It's very important.
They
I mean,
should have done it.
the first step that Waitsfield's taking, well, Waitsfield's gonna take, Warren has already taken, is starting to catalog the short-term rentals. That's a first step in the process. So figuring out, like, short-term rental stuff is very important.
So,
And it's something that we need to talk about. And that's a good way to figure out how many houses are empty and how many houses are on the short-term market, and if. That topic is very near and dear to my heart, and one of the reasons that I exist in this room is to try to figure that out, that's why I
I would
came.
think it would be a statewide question.
Yeah,
We're getting that data too at a regional level, so we'll be
Yeah.
able to share that.
has anyone tried reaching out to the power companies to have them run the algorithms? They will do it for you, I just haven't gone through the
I
process.
think maybe just a more, old school approach, you should just get I said to Freddie, you should just get a ninja outfit and a flashlight and a little notebook, and here you go, this.
Well, in the winter, you can see
You gotta
which
show-
driveways have tire tracks on them.
Oh, yeah, a fire track survey.
We need an energy chapter, we need a future integrity map, a forest integrity map.
Which you,
Future land.
What does that mean by a forest integrity map?
shows your forest blocks with habitat connectors, you have a habitat, 4 map in your
Oh,
plan. So that's essentially what it is, but it needs to be updated and have
Does it have
forest blocks represented on it.
So it have a diverse, the forest integrity means it has a diverse type of tree, so it increases different types of.
It's just showing where your forests are, where the wildlife's moving, where there's habitats.
Has nothing to do with like the actual health or.
The health,
You know.
no, that's in your forest management. So, and
Our
I,
forest.
I mean, it's
there's-
not
there's
in-
hundreds. of
Integrity,
that.
not in
well, for
the
Faith
secondary
and
meaning.
each town has
Integrity.
their
But
own.
they're forest management plans only for the town forest, correct?
More.
I believe you can have a forest management plan and a town forest. Right, management plan.
Well, I'm struggling to understand this,
I
'Cause-
don't know.
because I spent a long time writing our forest management plan for our property.
Okay,
and
for your
it's-
property.
It's extremely detailed
For current use.
for current use. It's extremely detailed. And I've seen other forest management plans in the area, but they're all very specific for particular parcels.
Okay,
And I do know that there is one for the town forest. Chase Brook or whatever, and
Boyd.
Blue Ridges.
There's one for Mad River Glen, because they're in current use.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
so,
But I do not know there's one for all of Facein.
okay, well, that's fine, but I think in your town plan, you could reference, if you are. If you're managing the town forest plan or you're monitoring it, that could be one of your goals. That's where the town plan comes in, but your forest management plan is not. It's just showing the forest blocks and I don't think that's related to.
Yeah, this is just showing, this map is only showing areas that are deer overwintering areas, which comes off state maps. Potential travel corridors and riparian areas.
I mean, you can go on the ANR Atlas or
You get
map
this.
viewer, and you can pull up all the different
Yeah.
habitats and core blocks and all that.
And if
But
you look
again-
at Waitsfield or Moortown, they have a good forest.
what I am saying is this base map is not up to date, the parcels aren't correct.
Yeah, no, that, I would say I would certainly update that if you want, a regionally approved.
But who does that?
What are you looking at?
Map 5,
Yeah.
what, based in core
You're saying,
habitat.
what is, like, I go to the Vermont GIS site and I look for wetlands and I look for forest, I mean, I look at all this stuff, that's the same data that Brian's working with, right? And then he's just producing a map,
Okay.
right? I mean, like, I'm sorry, it's not like he has some secret data source.
Someone here, if you have someone who is map swab,
Yeah,
you could do it in-house.
But we don't have a printer.
Right, well, we could print it for you, but if you have a GIS person, you could certainly do it in-house, some towns do.
Okay, but my point is, these base, when I go on the E9011 website or
What?
they're not up to date.
You're gonna have to give me a class.
The
Your
data-
state map.
I'm saying.
Mine is in
here, I
geographical
look at these
information
numbers,
system.
there's errors.
Give me a class.
I'll keep it off.
To get them correct.
It's not hard, but
It's really not.
just understanding how data points.
Makes me mad.
And our.
I sent you a conservative lands map.
Put one together.
You sent me a what?
I sent you a map of all conservative lands.
You did?
Yeah, you saw it, right?
Want me to find one?
I mean,
for you? I can.
Brian's not working with some other set of information.
Example, Mickey, of what.
No, he's not doing it at all.
No, what I'm saying is like,
We can do it.
what?
We have access.
We have access.
You know, we've got a big printer at the
But
office.
I
I don't know.
will certainly follow.
As I was
up
just
if-
telling him, if he just gives me a short little quickie on this GIS stuff, I may
If
be
there's
able
a
to.
person.
I mean, like, I
that-
mentioned, maybe we should budget buying a large plotter printer
And.
for town.
And then.
for the town.
Yeah.
Tell him
Like,
where I.
on
see-
three separate occasions.
Somebody said that's a bad idea because if they
The
don't have
regular
enough
parcels
use,
are wrong. Same thing with this one, there's errors in this parcel.
Yeah,
they clog, there's,
Okay,
They
so
need-
let me just back up and write down what I'm.
Yeah, there are issues. I remember
You
working
want
with Chris
me
Miller, where issues all the time.
to have Brian reach out to you on this specific map with the updates, and you want an ANR resource.
So- just so you know, the parcels are not correct. And that's a Doug thing. Like, it's like parcels are, that's the lister, like, there's so many people that feed into this pie that the ingredients come from everywhere.
So, Langford, what I'm struggling with
Yeah.
is, I think we're in violent agreement, we need updated maps.
Yes,
And I do not know how to get them updated.
so maybe that should be our next meeting.
So maybe that's your first big priority, is updating.
No, we're actually we've already kind of made headway on it. We're gonna work with Brian and that's gonna wait. He knows how to work GIS. I said he might have to give me a little.
But let's go through the list at our next meeting
I might be able. Maybe might be
and
able to-
make a list
I
of
can
what we
make you the
need
maps tomorrow.
and to figure out the
Best
data
that
point
more than just one
that
person.
we
Yeah, no, I-
need each one.
I thought you and I,
Don't say
that Jason put out a list of all the maps we wanted. You added some things, I added some things, and Jason sent that off to Brian.
Yeah,
So,
to no avail.
Well,
So
Brian
way more than
so-
just sending off. I had like an hour meeting.
doesn't have access to the.
But if we could do
GIS.
some of
Like,
this
you
in-house,
can't update.
like what?
If this
Updating
is a
them?
state boundary.
I would like to have a
ANR
person
do it.
who could sit
Yeah,
with
so-
us and give
So
us.
Brian
and
was,
say,
you guys
okay,
share
this
an
is
office,
wrong.
or you're in the
Here's
same
the-
building, right?
Here's the
He
data.
doesn't
for it.
well, that's what I'm
with the
saying,
public
maybe
map,
Doug
No.
can do
So-
some of this with parcels.
He's working with the same
who's he
as
think
map
that?
viewer, and like, he's just producing
Because I
maps
sit
and
down
then
with
creating a
Doug and go
PDF,
through this.
and then
But who
printing
we
them.
feed
Like, that's,
it
I mean, hey, I understand,
I
yeah,
understand.
yeah, like,
Doug,
Doug.
regardless of how it works with the map. Update our listers map.
This is-
And our lister map is,
Like, so this is what I'm doing.
it's pretty good shape.
Like, well, all of-
Nemrick is not quite as bad as Brian, but he's been for a while, but.
And I.
But it's, if you look at our
Not
listers
for-
map,
Right.
just say for example,
States.
Territory subdivision.
And.
And
Headwater-
you'll see on our listers map, all the lots. But if you were to go to
It's like-
This is the
E9,
one that's over by Michael.
yes, and if you were to go to E911 view or A&R or something like
Yeah.
that, it shows like,
But I appreciate that Brian has a lot more.
but our lister map is updated, so now how do we get that information
Yeah.
into
Set a deadline for this, because it's obvious.
all these other maps, like E911 viewer, the little apps that you have, they all pull from the same place. We
So
just
you're
gotta
gonna
get
send us a
our
check.
parcels
We know.
to that source.
That's my point.
I think Brian's the guy that will have, if we get, just to find out who we send that GIS information to. So it will be it'll be a
You've
data.
got to be able to work.
But it is important when it comes down.
But
to
we have to, that's like the,
Yeah,
And-
that it exists.
Yes. And that is updated.
So if I'm reading between the lines, you're saying that what they've done in the past, where they sort of copy and paste the previous, update the charts, update the maps, and then send it to you guys to get the rubber stamp, and then the stamp that is looked at very thoroughly. Then it comes back to us, and then we can start working on land use regulations.
Brian works the map, he uses the GIS, he uses the data points, right, so we have a lister's map, and goes through now. And all our parcels are up to date, but if you were to look at E911 view or any of these apps that show parcels,
Mhm.
it's not up to date.
Right.
They all pull from the same source.
Right, yes,
Who's that source?
that is the state,
And
A&R.
ANR.
A&R.
Agency of Natural Resources.
So
I will,
VC
there are
A&R.
A&R maps with all the tiers that came along with 181. And we should be able to turn off layers that
A&R.
would show
It's Google.
lots of
So he,
data that.
so all
may
we
be
do is
relevant
get that
to us.
listers map, that raw information from the listers map to A&R, and then A&R could update the source on all the parcels. Parcels would be then checked done.
I think there's a lot of groups at the state that are in trauma mode right now.
Probably, yeah. I mean, Act 181's been, I'm sure you see, it's been good.
And we've got 325 coming, and when are they voting? It's in the House now, Senate
Yeah,
passed it.
that's for the delay, right?
Playing the extension of the
And
exemptions.
then there's the group, I mean, they're pushing hard for repeal. So we'll see.
And it's a significant delay, but there you go.
What's the road rules?
2030.
What is it?
No, it's the road rule that the road rule existed in Act 250. They took it, correct me if I'm wrong, they removed it, and now they're talking about putting it back in. This road rule, this isn't the first time Vermont.
Well, and it's the corridors. And the 2,000-foot buffers on either side.
Yeah, the wildlife, yeah.
Okay, so we have a plan, there you
No,
go.
I was gonna say, I think it's the tiers forcing people into that new road, or into the road rule is the problem that people have. They're gonna end up in a tier where they're that road rule now.
No, road rule is tier 2, tier 3, tier everything. Road rule exists. You can't get out of the road rule.
I know, I'm saying, people are upset now because they're gonna end up in one of these tiers
Yeah.
where they're gonna be under that jurisdiction.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget, I say you're gonna have to pay this Act 250 permit to have this long road. If you have this long road, you're definitely probably gonna have impervious surfaces. And you're gonna have to have a stormwater discharge permit, whether it's the half acre or,
You have a landscape plan, you'll.
Yeah. it's
Right,
really
it's
hard. It's gonna be,
significant
tax burden
cost.
is gonna be huge, or fee burden is gonna be huge.
It also is it's adding 6 to 8 months to a project, right? And it's, so what Act 181 and Act 50, well, not Act 59, Act 181, what it's doing is it's crushing the Vermont dream. People who come here, they own it, their family owns a big piece of property, they wanna build a cabin or start a sugaring operation, so they wanna build a road to get to that spot. And now that's an Act 250 permit, and maybe they don't have a lot of money, and they're just doing it,
Let's just throw in the right to grow.
Right?
Because now they've passed something where municipalities can dictate whether or not you can have a garden.
Let's just go put them in a growth center, which is in a flood zone anyway. Alright, forest integrity map, energy chapter. Tighten up. The objective or strategies to the objectives may be okay, we just gotta tighten up how many strategies we have to it, cause it's a bit much. If it's, as long as it's in the body or in the objectives and goals, it's covered, so for that coverage.
And if you wanna send chapters or a start for me to review before as you go on incrementally, I'm happy to review. To see if you're on the right path with what, we're thinking.
But you're sending a checklist.
Yeah, I'll send you the plan review tool template, and this is what we use.
Probably already up in my inbox.
How have other towns gotten feedback from the public? When we were doing the survey, we're gonna invite them to meetings. Is there anything else?
For the public,
I saw some people were like posting some like edits they had already made on their website. It looked like some drafts,
yeah, you mean like posting on your website so that.
so drafts people can read it and.
Yeah,
as we go.
I would recommend that, yeah, as you're doing updates or you can share it, that's what we're doing with our Lynn right now.
Maybe we could send it out on the listserv. You know, the town,
No,
So
they'll say no.
our GIS.
Okay.
They don't want it to flood the
March
listserv
2019.
with, okay, so when they do have, that's
That's
what I got from them
That's
years ago about.
data that we're working
That's why we
on.
like.
So
it's
then.
a great announcement, and I'm doing a lot.
Front Porch Forum, maybe.
Yeah,
Sorry if I'm rude, but.
It's all very confusing. It's all very confusing.
but I wouldn't worry about that because you're getting that at the regional level, you're getting the mapping for your natural resource planning, right?
Yeah.
So you'll have that mapping, it will be done. Because it has to. So just move forward with your survey and start at the beginning if you want. Just go through all your objectives and strategies. Decide what you want to keep, what you want to edit, but also I hope that you're communicating that through your survey, which is,
Yeah.
it will tie in. And yeah, I think natural resource is probably where a lot of your priority is right now. If housing becomes a thing, then you should, plan for it around cluster development, which is what your plan says right now. And that's really the state goal.
I guess my question is, you go to go
Mhm.
and you drive down a road that looks lovely, right? And you take a little turn onto a lane. And there are 10 houses out there in the woods that you see not at all from the road. The road rule would be enacted for sure. And we're so steep here
Right.
that it really limits the ability to do that. How do you differentiate between, along a road sprawl, if you will, versus this cluster building that's hidden?
Well, that wouldn't be allowed through the road rule. So, yeah, I mean, if it's pre-road rule, then sure. But you also, there's steep slopes as part of, I think it's in your regulations.
It is.
Yeah, so you can't build there.
Well, you can
Well, you
build on
can.
steep slopes, it's the very steep slopes that gets questioned, 15%
Yeah,
to 25%, yeah, you can build on 25%.
They get a variance.
yeah, actually,
Conditional use.
what was it? I pulled from your town plan about considering establishing a ridgeline steep slope overlay district.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that crashed and burned.
That didn't go well.
We weren't even here, we heard about how bad it burned.
Okay. Write that down. So,
And they pass now, but I mean, ridge lines, we tend not to develop on.
And we've got
ridge lines. I mean, if you look at
elevation.
LURs, it has, yeah, ridge lines and stuff like that, it's frowned upon, so.
Don't we have only like 3 parcels that are above 2,300 feet elevation? We looked at that at last
I
meeting.
wouldn't say we have only 3, but we have a lot on the left side.
And now we've got a limit of, what is it?
2,500,
2,500 is now.
and that's 250 also, so, and that's not changing.
well, I felt the frustration we had with Brian here tonight, so I hope that. it
Because we
gets
were subtle.
easier, moving forward, but I think, I will communicate how important it is.
Yeah, it's just a disappearing, just even like an email like, hey, I received, working on it, get you later.
Right.
And at least that's saying, like, I was like, well, maybe he's fired, maybe he's no longer there, maybe retired. Get hit by a bus, maybe there's a new mapper, right? I don't know. I go to the staff page, I'm like, no, he's still there.
And if you have a timeline on how you want to get your information, that would be really useful. But as PC chair, you might wanna organize that and just.
Yeah.
Give us kind of an overview so we can start scheduling.
They will. we will get all that information together as a team, and then I will communicate that to you all.
Do have a question. You're a community planner, so you might have, you're familiar with Act 59 and conserve 30 by 30, 50 by 50.
Mhm.
And every time I go to look through this, it seems that I'm going through current use pages. Current use
Okay.
seems to be a big part of that. Current use isn't really conservation, because you can opt out, you don't have to pay the penalty. Is Act 59 proposing maybe a bigger penalty or some change to current use that won't allow people to opt out?
I haven't heard that. Act 50, current use is,
The tax thing.
right, yes. So, but you're asking if Act 59, which is about
Conserving land,
developing the conservation plan and
right?
identifying.
And every time I go to look through it, I seem to be going through current use stuff.
Yeah,
And I'm
I,
wondering if current use is.
There's
one of the ways-
conversation that they're gonna take current use and make it, permanent conservation land.
I haven't heard that.
And my question
Very,
is,
very
can you
good.
opt out
Yeah.
if they're changing the rules midway without penalty? Or do they have some intention of greatly reducing your land value to compensate for that?
And all I'm saying, when I do the research, it takes me through current use pages, and it's like, why is current use, why am I going through current use to learn about Act
So
59?
I went to the meeting yesterday with the VHCB. And that was a question that was asked. Okay, and the takeaways I got is that we were at about 20 something percent. I can get the exact number. I think it's 27%. Don't quote me. I'll go and get the number, exact number. And they're struggling to get to 30% because we lost a lot of federal funding. So the VHCB said it looks to be unlikely we're gonna actually get to 30 by 2030. Then the question was, okay, what about current use? Is it in or out? It's out. Not included yet. And we went in the whole conversation about the maps not being up to date. Okay? And said the rules around current use are still to be defined. He did not have an answer for it and said that's most likely going to be part of the 50 by 2050. So that could be 5-10 years down the road where they work that out. So my conclusion was they're still trying to figure this out.
That's what I'm reading on from the Vermont Natural Resources Council. That it's gonna impact the current use program by prioritizing, defining and potentially accelerating the permanent protection of agriculture and forest lands. Through potentially like a new reserved forest land category. So the debate, it seems, is right now, they're trying to debate whether or not, what counts towards the 30% and what will count towards the 50%. And whether working lands that are currently in the current use program are fully recognized as conserved, quote unquote, and by definition, as defined by Act 59, or whether they must have permanent restrictions to count towards the 30%. They're not gonna convert, nobody's gonna. I
So
don't
stay
think-
tuned.
State's not gonna come in and say, oh, everything that's in your current use is now permanently.
Concern, you'll have to
Conserve.
make that choice.
You have to make that choice, and they're gonna work to prioritize making that choice. You'll be incentivized, probably financially, to put your current use land. And have some permanent restrictions on your current use land. They can't force you to do that. That would be an illegal taking by the.
Or they just declared it.
That's
That wouldn't- that-
Or
that
they
wouldn't
just
happen.
clear that land tier
Right,
three,
they would have to
take
give
the
you
value
the
out.
option. to
Yeah,
opt out.
the government can't,
Watch
in this
it.
country, they can't. There's a huge line of cases of the last 200 years in this country about government taking people's lands. And it's generally,
Yeah, I heard it was in.
generally doesn't fly.
No, but if you devalue it by declaring it tier 3.
Well,
They can, yes, they can, as I said, they can incentivize property owners to permanently protect
yes,
their land.
there's a new classification, you mentioned it, Paul, called forest reserve.
Reserved forest land.
Okay, and that classification started about 2 years ago. And what it basically entails is environmentally sensitive areas, areas that are over 35% slopes, riparian areas. And if your tract includes those things for the bulk of it, and there's a rule that, forget, I think it's 40%, don't quote me on, but it's a percentage, then you are eligible to put the land in the forest reserve category. And your forest management plan then needs to reflect that. So my wife and I chose to put our land in the forest reserve program. We were some of the first.
I think that was
And we went, I spent a lot of time writing it. And we have no interest in developing it. We have tremendous interest in having it as part of a habitat connector, all that kind of stuff. So our land is forest reserve, and they still haven't told us it's gonna be part of the conservative.
But it's Freddie and you have. But Freddie, yeah, I don't think, yeah,
So those questions are
Stay
still being debated, but it doesn't
they're
make
being
sense that
debated, but
there's
you can't, it would be,
a constitutional
alarmist.
violation.
would be alarmist to, state or push the notion that everybody that has land in current use is going to be forced to permanently conserve it.
I have not heard that.
That's.
No one's
I've
ever,
heard that there's
no one's ever gonna say that part out loud.
conversation.
Well, according to VHC.
River corridors,
There's
you
discussion.
brought that up earlier.
There's discussion about how to consider
27, supposed to have updated river
continuous
corridors.
use properties in
No, I
the
remember it.
50 by 2050
Well,
growth,
that's.
not for the 30 by 20.
Okay.
No,
so
not
that's-
us, they, like Ned Swanberg and all that are supposed to update the river corridor maps by
Right, well,
some
the
date.
FEMA maps, they don't know when,
FEMA's a whole different, it's
So-
watershed by watershed.
but the bylaws, the new state enacted, it will happen in 2028.
With updated river corridor maps,
Yes.
which, cause right now it's like 50-foot buffers and things like that, and I think they're gonna be updated, that's why I was curious to see the new maps before. And then the river corridor bylaws, from what I've heard, have you seen anything on these?
I've got those.
Well, we just.
I've got-
Okay, are they very similar to the FEMA flood standards?
Yeah, you're following the state standard. And again, this isn't my wheelhouse, this would be Lincoln, Nebraska, and.
Yeah. But I'm just curious, cause I'm waiting, you know, like anyone else, I'm looking for the updated flood insurance
Do
studies.
you want me to give you this?
Yeah, it'd be great.
Quote this to you.
Cause like I've heard that Shepherd Brook might become a zone A. Right now, the flood insurance study ends right at the town line. That's the stream right in front of here. Millbrook, we have a flood, insurance study.
I will give you
So how far up?
the whole thing with the questions, Jason, I'm asking Rose.
That's why I was. And I seen the preliminary, I went on the map service center and looked at preliminary stuff. Still no flood insurance study. I think they're just going to make it zone A. There'll be no floodway, there'll be no zone AE, there won't be no elevation one, because there's no flood insurance study.
I don't know what that means, zone A.
It's a special flood hazard area. I forget which one it is. I don't use the 1 in 1,000.
One out of 100, I think.
Yeah.
The 100-year flood.
Yeah, and it's on the map as zone AE, so the FEMA will have a zone, that's just this AE. And you must have insurance on
You
that.
need $4,000.
I could show you an example of that.
Yeah, FEMA stuff.
In the time that we've been talking, I've done a little bit of research. And I've established that the GIS underlying database that Facein has was recorded in 2019. And NIMRIC is our current vendor. Warren updated theirs, and theirs is, I'll give you the exact date on that. And they used a company called CIS. Theirs is November 13th of 2025, and they worked with a company called CAI Technologies. And then there's another company called Christine Chamberlain Mapping. And there's a bunch of bids. Basically, they come into a town and they take the E911 maps, they take the grant list, they take all of the data and they put it into a GIS database, and then they give that to the state of Vermont. And then that map gets updated, and then that's where Brian gets his information. So if we're asking, Brian doesn't update the maps. If we want better data in our town, we have to hire a GIS consultant to take all of that information and submit it to the state to put it on the GIS database, and then those maps can be produced. Like,
Really?
Brian's not responsible for putting conserved lands on the maps. That's not what he does. He's taking the existing database and producing a product for us. So I don't know why, I'm new, just like all of you, why our data is from 2019. Buell's Gorge did theirs in 2023. So I think we need to shake that down and figure out if we can get NIMRIC to update if we can give all the information to NIMRIC, which is our current vendor, or if we can work with Christine Chamberlain Mapping, or maybe these are all Vermont-based companies, or CIA Technologies. And
Yeah, so we gotta get NEMRIC to get it to the state, so.
yeah,
That's.
but we have to give them so that your 911 and your parcel maps and all that.
So everything is,
Everything, so that data goes there, and then Brian takes that data and he produces these maps for us. But the information behind the door is not controlled by her office. Like, that's not.
so
We need-
whatever they produce is only as good as the data they've got.
Yeah, and we haven't updated our data since 2019. So I think that's something that we need to take on as a planning commission to try to figure that out and see if we can get some money for that. About $4,000 is what I'm seeing on the internet.
That'd be a good use of it.
Would that fall under the municipal planning grid?
Uh,
To gather data for the town plan?
you could try, could look into that.
We go through you guys for that.
We can help with that.
But yeah, updating our GIS data is the first step to getting that stuff. Now, defining river corridors, like that's data that you then give to your consultant, and then they put that.
Yeah, but defining river corridors
It's not,
is not us.
no, it's not us.
That's Ned and all that.
Yeah, but they give you the data, and then that
Okay.
data is given to the GIS person, and then that gets put into the maps.
They
But
give it
did
to that
you
guy.
answer Michael's question about who's conserved their land or not?
Yeah, because we're gonna have to get a report on the conserved lands, so someone gonna have to go out and get that information, compile a database, you give that to GIS consultants, they put it on the map. So like Terrafay, which is the one that abuts his property, right? Which is not on the conserved land maps, no one really, if that has a Vermont Land Trust Conservation or whatever that is, it would be added to the map.
But it's gonna add to the map.
It's what?
It's gonna get added to the map, that particular conserved.
I hope
I
so.
was in communication with you and you were like, yeah, they'll send, it. Yeah, you didn't know, and then you reached out to somebody.
Yeah, that was way back. I just
Yeah,
looked back
but it's gonna
at
take
it,
time.
Yeah.
But it won't be on the map until we update
That was
it.
February.
Okay, I'll look at that email, but I can't. I have so many.
So should we call the Vermont Land Trust for some of this and see if
That's
they
good,
can
yeah,
update?
I think what we should do is we should reach out to a GIS consultant, see if NIMRIC can do it for us, and then get a list of things that they require, or if it's part of their consulting fee to gather that data to update our maps.
So we need to make a list of all the things we need to do at our next meeting and then do homework.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Jason and I I'll try to call and get some free information to bring to the next meeting, or you can if you want as well.
Yeah, we just need a list that
Yeah.
we're all aware of what's being done.
But our data, I mean, Warren is up to date, and I don't know why, this is the first I've learned of it, I thought that this was done naturally. But yeah. March 6th of 2019 is the last time our data was updated.
Has Josh Schwartz said anything about updating some of the mapping?
Not specifically, but I can get in his ear on Thursday.
I'll review this with Brian too,
Yeah,
and just to be sure this. The right.
yeah, no, I mean, like, there's
Yeah.
a contract that she wrote to Charlotte about this is the data I need. Or whoever runs that Chamberlain mapping kind of thing, and if you give me this information at $3,600, I'll give you new maps. I mean.
Is there anything else, Nikki, on your list that we should
I
know
think-
about?
Yeah, that is it.
Good point.
We talked about river corridor, you told me what you need, and if there's any other issues, or it sounds like we're here to support you, so if there's anything more you want, or that could be better improved communication, then please share with me now, and I will leave, because I know that you have other things to get on.
Nikki, I have a question for you. So I've got this flood hazard and river corridor bylaw, it's 21 pages.
Mhm,
And the other plans, the town plans,
mhm.
or in the land use regulations of other town, do they include all 21 pages?
This is the state one,
Yeah,
yeah.
What are we talking?
flood hazard and river corridor bylaw.
Yeah, usually, I mean, I've seen it in Trainfield, and they've just kind of inserted parts of it, yeah. I mean, I don't know, it's not 21 pages.
Yeah, 21 pages.
Well, I'm thinking of just the one that I've seen incorporated.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you.
Let me double check with that. town,
This is
but
a
I
lot of
think
stuff, yeah.
It is a lot.
You know,
We've had
it is.
significant flooding and probably it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a chunk of their regulations. I don't know if it's 21 pages, but it is.
Well, do they,
Yeah.
my question to you is, do are you expecting in our land use regulations or town plan to fully include this state flood hazard and river corridor bylaw template?
Do you currently have anything in your?
We have words that.
Yeah, we have
But it's
whole
not nothing
section
like
on
this,
stream buffers and wetland buffers and.
but it's not as detailed as this.
Okay. Well, yes, I would recommend that you would update per the state guidance, especially with, let's say, yeah.
Well, our bylaws have to match, either have to match the law. So if the bylaw says no
So much for
development within
shortening our
100 feet of the
campaign.
stream, that has to say that.
And just so you know, this is what Lincoln Frasca would come out and help you with, this whole process of how you incorporate bylaws for river corridor into your regulations that go by the state guidance. So that would be a great question for him, and he'll come out. and-
So when we get to LURs. We're revamping section 3.14, and we call Lincoln out for advice.
But maybe the phone conversation first, because we're doing it in the town plan, whether we need to include all.
Well, yes, I think this is part of a separate document, but he's actually meeting with towns now, so if you could plan it for the next few months, I would. And just to know what,
We do that. Yeah, if we're not gonna work on it for another 2.5 years,
yeah. Well, by then.
because this room may be all new
Yeah, well, and the state will have its regulations by then.
and we make a match.
So Rose is actually saying, I'd be happy to discuss this in further detail with the planning commission and select board, perhaps with my colleagues Ned and Tessa along as well. So she's already offering
Oh, yeah, that would, and who is Rose? She's with,
river corridor and flood management, Vermont Department of Environmental Conservation.
oh, that's
Rose?
That, I would certainly have her, talk to you.
I think a good, actually, no, a good is to take our section I think it's 3.14, and send that to Ned.
LUR?
Yeah, I think it's 3.4 slopes and 3.14 is wetland and stream buffer.
You're good.
But we could send that to Ned. Ned's our regional floodplain manager and say, hey, Ned, here's our stuff on stream buffers and wetland. Is this going to, what's the new river bylaws going to, river corridor bylaws?
Oh, I can
What,
tell you,
in this way, he could just say, instead of just put a 21-page document in there saying, you've got a lot of this in here, let's just add these 3 things.
Yeah, that's what.
And he's our regional floodplain manager, so Ned and his underling Tess.
I can tell you flat right,
Or we
real
just
quick.
get rid of
it's
our
different.
section, just have a link.
No, this is actually, that's what I'm.
That it is.
This has got
Working link.
really good details of design, ours does,
Better the LUR's top line.
LURs.
Yeah.
Sample stormwater best management practices for swales and whatnot.
Oh, we do good work.
That seems,
This part of
that seems like erosion control.
it's under
That's 3.4.
Should we get your final questions?
Yeah.
I just.
Soil and erosion and wetlands.
All right, Nikki needs to leave soon. Does anyone have any final questions?
Got it.
No? We thank her for her time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming.
I think we all got some marching points other than
Yeah,
survey.
Yeah, and I will get
We'll
you
get
the
it.
list.
Right.
I appreciate it.
Kind of know what we're gonna ask them.
With a memo.
We've got it right so much, because it will lead to tiny.
Thanks, Nikki.
Thank you.
Four. All right, kids. I mean, gentlemen, adults.
Thank you, Nikki.
So. There was some chat about the survey in the structuring. Do you guys want to elaborate further on the survey? It's a living document. If there's questions that you sort of have issues with, I'm just making a proposal here, don't like. If you want to work on those questions, so the base question is still there, so that new people filling out the survey have an easier time. I mean, would we be amenable to that? Like, if you have specific issues,
Can I print out the survey
you can try.
and get all the questions and then scan it and send it to everybody? And then this way they are actually reading the survey without actually having to go
makes
through it
sense.
all?
I mean, to me,
Yes.
the horse is out of the barn.
Okay.
And we've got, what you said, 73.
76, someone filled one out today, and I was gonna hook up to the computer if you guys wanna see what it looks like, what our responses have.
I wouldn't mind seeing what the responses are.
What's the goal of that right now? I mean, we're gonna get in the weeds on that.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
Hopefully have a-
I mean, it's really
have a body of
interesting.
Data.
I mean, I look at it because it's, you know, it's there, and it's very interesting to see. Like some of those questions towards the end, you know. Like right now, 47% of people say we don't need more cell phone coverage, and 52 say we do, so it's very much divided, 50-50.
Okay, let's not do
We're
this
getting
now.
weeds.
Please don't do this.
I'm not doing this now, what I'm saying
Well,
is.
you are, actually.
You wanted to talk about the stupid questions that you don't like, so I just wanted to know what stupid questions you don't
I
like.
like Jason's idea of.
We'll give it a shot.
Correct.
You didn't sound,
Yeah, print it out.
confidence wasn't
scan it.
high that I can do it, but I'll give it a go.
See if that can do it, and we're not taking pot shots at bad questions, Langdon, but I think if there's a way. As you said, it's a living document, if there's a way we can just see it and chime in. I just had that one, I just had one little set of section or set of questions that I had difficulty with.
Yeah.
Maybe, it was just me, maybe it's other people, but let's do
Give
that.
that a go.
Yeah, let's give that a go.
So you want the questions with the answers, obviously, right? That didn't work.
What, I don't really care about the answers.
No, you wanna look at the survey.
Yeah.
With the questions and all of the answers.
Yeah,
Like you want the
lots of
possible-
choices.
Sorry, I'm trying to get you the information. To print it, the whole thing.
I have to go section by section.
They're,
We'll do it.
whites. Spokane, Washington. Sort of like Red Wings.
Only they look softer
But
and more
they're
comfortable.
nicer down there. I'll have these. Yeah, to your foot.
So you wanna print it out,
Buy my house.
also you can,
White Wings, less than 200.
you wanna print it out so you can fill it out by hand? Is that what you're?
No,
doing?
just so you can.
So
No.
we can
Without
see
having
them.
to go through.
I mean,
We
You
can
can
see
choose
all the
full
questions.
time, it's.
Yeah, I mean, to Michael's point, I think it's out there, we're not, I don't think we changed it. I think we.
Probably not, but you might be able to change some wording on a question to make it a
Yeah,
little
not
easier
a,
to read.
no wholesale
If
change.
he's saying he had a difficulty reading a question, maybe,
I mean, I think that's just, then you're gonna get half
As long
the
as you don't
chances of
change-
answering the
right.
question, it's different.
Yeah, I don't think you
Even a
can
small
change
change,
it
I think
either.
we go with it and we work with whatever it is, and it's as good as it's gonna be, it's great.
at the same time, we could put out another survey.
We could put out
We could put
another,
out as many surveys as we
when we
want.
have 2 years, we could put one out next year that's like,
So if we get
A
the
short
feedback
one.
on what's wrong with this one, maybe the next one, we correct it.
There's that, you said it's a living document, that's all I was.
Phone call that I got were,
If we're gonna treat it like
Here are the
a
questions.
living document, then we have the ability to make some minor tweaks on the fly. That, I mean, this isn't.
I'd rather
we're
get
not-
this one than do another one.
Yeah, but I'm saying that any data you get is gonna be valuable and you'll have the ability compare the answers before we made an amendment to the amended one, I don't think it's gonna be like real substantive difference. But anyway, let's just take a look. I just wanna know if everybody else is comfortable with all the questions.
Alright, there's a PDF in all of your inboxes of the entire survey. You can feel free to print it. I can print it for you if you need.
I can.
It is 47 pages long.
Okay.
So to understand it, how it works, because I spent 3 hours with you and with Michael the night of, in February, we went over every single question, looked at every single answer up on the screen before, we did this work. It's built as a choose your own adventure survey, as you can see, because that seems fair to me. So in the PDF, it's gonna be like, you're gonna see the first question, do you live full-time, I'll make this quick, I promise.
No, you told me this on the phone, I understand. how it
Yeah,
works.
but what you have to
Totally
look at
not.
is like, there's the subsection, if you remember, like, non-resident vacant land, like, do you not live here? Do you have development? So it goes through the questions, but it's. You're gonna see every question, but if you have any, like, path questions, just call me,
Okay.
don't sit there trying to figure it out, because I can show it to you in another way. But it's every single question that you could possibly ever see. Some of them are snarky. Okay, I said it was snarky, the one like, do you have a house on your property? Are you renting it that you don't live in it? Why not? You know, and I made it very clear that I was snarky in the way that I wrote that question when we did it. And then we talk about what types of sentence. Anyway, it's all in all of your inboxes, of every single question on the survey.
Great, thank you.
But Freddie, what's your overriding concern with the survey? You said it's
I got
slanted?
phone call saying as slanted as all the other ones have ever been, that it really pushes everything to the environment.
It's pretty similar to the other ones that we've had.
I mean, we copied them, basically. We copied the old survey.
Yeah. Pushes
the-
everything to the
the
environment, because that's
parts-
again, because we don't have like a commercial what do we have in Facein? We have our environment. I mean, the survey is gonna be slanted towards the environment because we're not arguing about traffic lights. Roundabouts,
Do we want to pave the roads?
that's a good question, we asked that.
I've been asked about that many times, my 2 years here.
I think that's a
I
great
get
question,
that question.
and it's in the survey.
I was saying no.
The long form answers on what ideas for affordable housing are really, some of them are really great. The long form answers that for people that we just let them write paragraphs. And
See, I didn't see that.
oh, sorry, it just says, do you have any ideas on what the town can do to encourage affordable housing? And every path through the survey takes you to that question, just a blank box, you can type as much as you want.
As a member of the planning commission, I abstained from answering it.
Because I have no freaking idea.
Just so you know, I know you don't want it, I know you don't want all the statistics, but currently 79% of people in this town think we do not need police patrols on our roads.
Which was about the answer we thought we were gonna get, and now we have the answer.
And also 93% of people say we should not pave any more roads.
Good.
So these are, you asked the
I
question,
know, but we only have 79 responses.
okay, I mean, it was only like 146 of the last time.
I know,
I mean,
What's your point? Fred?
please,
we need more.
I know, but
I went around and I put these all over town to try to get more reviews. I encourage you to do the same, you know, I'm trying.
Yeah, I thought Andrew's interview with Lisa was excellent.
Yes.
He did a really nice job.
I wanna get a tiny URL into the Valley Reporter if possible.
Well, I was gonna bring this up, but as we map out the meetings, I was gonna talk to Lisa before each one and tell her which chapter. And try to give her a few kind of headline issues to make people care,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, and unfortunately, your article coincided with an ad that has a QR code in it that takes you to, like, for the ad, but it's like, so it's the link and then there's a QR code right next to it, which is really unfortunate. It's just how it worked out in the,
And Lisa
in the
didn't know
paper.
it was there.
yeah, and so,
Oh, I didn't notice.
so if we're gonna,
Well,
I didn't
it's the
check the
layout,
QR,
right?
yeah.
so, because we're just trying to drive people there, and unfortunately, the Google survey URL is has entirely too many characters, so I'm gonna create or someone can create a tiny URL, like, like we just get like www.faceintownsurvey.com and you click on that.
Well, I'll have her put the QR code in there again next.
Yeah, she didn't put the QR code in.
Oh, I thought it was right there near your,
No, that was an ad for taking the bus in the valley.
oh, I thought it was for the
Yeah,
survey.
look,
No,
it's right next to
It was right next to it, and it was the bus schedule for riding the bus in the valley. Because I scanned it, because I was like, oh, I hope this works.
That's what I sent her, the QR code and a link.
Yeah, so the QR code that I created the first time expired. Jason made a permanent QR code that still works with a dinosaur in the middle. You're looking for the dinosaur.
Alright, well,
This one have a
we'll get
dinosaur?
that next time.
Yeah, the dinosaur. You're looking for the dinosaur.
Do we wanna make a plan for the next, are we gonna go over a chapter next meeting, or look for public feedback next meeting on a chapter or two?
Or before we do that, should we go through the whole thing and look at the maps that we need to get data for and the
Before we get.
charts?
Or we're gonna wait for the maps before we get,
Well, I think
Feedback
we've
from
got to
the
get we've got to get the requests into either Nemrick or to Brian
Uh-huh.
before we go further.
Did any of you get a chance to look at the documents I sent out 2 weeks ago? Of like some of the 255 grammar corrections I made, spelling corrections in the existing town plan?
I didn't, I opened it and I
It's okay.
didn't look at.
One of the documents is my scratch pad that I sent you, which is just, and in the scratch pad, I listed the 10 maps that we currently have. And then I took every single chart and graph out of the entire town plan and I put it into that one document. And as Micah was saying, who's gonna update all these charts? It's us, from my understanding. If you look in the town plan at the bottom of a lot of these charts, it says like, for example, 8.3 primary heating fuel is coming from the 1990 and 2000 US Census, 2000, it's at the bottom. So you just have to go to that, get the information and update the charts. And it's an insane amount of work.
well, I thought Nikki's gonna update a lot of the charts and data.
No,
They're
that
gonna
is
do any.
not by Nikki.
Yeah, they don't do any charts.
She just said what are we requesting the data for?
The data for us to build the charts.
The data to fill out the charts.
Oh, they're not billing for us?
No,
And then so like,
Not be, I mean, can we just?
so
take the
like,
data
for example,
and
like
we'll
figure
figure
8.1 is source 2019 Facing Town Survey. So once the town survey is done, that data goes into this chart. So like updating charts. So like if we're looking for homework, if we each took a chapter and tried to get the best data for each one of the charts in that chapter, that would be a huge move
Help.
forward. Because we need to, I mean, these charts are gonna stay.
Next
Right.
month, we have Franny Hogue from Mad River Planning District
Yeah.
coming. Let's ask Franny about the data. I've already given her heads up. I already give Josh and Franny heads up at our ZA meetup that we're going to be asking for this. She's here,
and we pay a lot for their services.
and let's get the homework that we want, and so she can get that data. And then maybe she'll make the charge for us.
Do you think that they'd reach out to Washington Electric and Green Mountain Power to find out our total electrical consumption in Facein?
That'll be for her next month.
I mean, I updated the charts on the number of deer that have been killed every year from the last time the chart was created.
What I'm gonna think though is that, judging by her response and every time we've talked about pulling the information from the electric companies, no one knows about this. She had deer headlight look, Franny, Josh probably will have deer headlight look.
Oh, as far as running the algorithm?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's because
They'll run the algorithms, it's
But
just
just asking
asking
the
them a
electric
question.
Everyone's
Yeah.
like, what?
But also understand that my cousin is a very successful data scientist who does this for large businesses, and so I was picking her brain on how I
She would do it for a very small municipality.
But yeah, so there's a lot of charts and they're all sourced from different databases. And you think that we're gonna be able to get the Vermont planning,
The Mad River.
the Mad River planning, they're gonna do it for us?
At least they might have the data, or pull the data for us. They just did this data report with all this crazy stuff. And they do the 3 towns and they just use
They've got a meeting on Thursday.
Yeah, I know, man.
Do you wanna ask them?
I said I would.
What was that? And then Franny is going to be here next month to discuss the annual data report. So what I thought, what better time to ask her to actually get us our data? Because when you look at the annual data report, it's just charts and all that, and it doesn't, you can't really, it doesn't say like 500.
But they can pull out face.
But they have the data they made the chart from.
So. Our next meeting,
When is Franny will be at our next meeting?
which is on the 11th. And then there's another meeting in this building on the 14th, which is when the Vermont land. He never remember.
Land Use Review Board.
The land use
Alex
board,
Lying.
Alex Wyman will be here, so like, we'll have a meeting on the 11th. Then there's gonna be a big 181 meeting, is that where we get the public to come ask questions, is that the one we should warn for 181? Not us warn it, you know what I'm saying?
But like, why? I mean, we are still doing our homework.
It's not about us.
Yeah, but
Which meeting are you talking about warning?
No, not a official, like, we're gonna do the 11th meeting, and we're gonna sit in, towards the end of this meeting, we can create an agenda for it. But like, when is the public, like, Wendy Bridgewater wrote an article in the Valley Reporter about being against 181. We should probably write a letter to the legislature and all sign the bottom of it about 181 as a planning commission, because that's what Moortown did, and that's what people do.
but why, like,
That we oppose it.
who opposes it?
Well, I oppose it,
Okay,
Freddie opposes
have
it,
we had a discussion on
I'm proposing a discussion.
it? Okay, I'm basically okay with Act 181, I mean, I mean, it's 171 pages, it's got some things I'm not so keen on, but overall, I don't have a problem with it. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to, in a bureaucratic manner, trying to retain Vermont's bucolic and natural resources, and yet also develops focus areas for planned growth. And I'm basically okay with what they're doing. I understand there's some restrictions and we can work on them, but I would be opposed to sending a letter.
Okay. Does anyone else wanna write a letter?
My 2 cents on it is their intentions are great. The unintended consequences, I've got mine. So I could live with it. But that's not okay for me. I think you can't take away other people's property rights.
Yeah, I don't like pulling up the ladder after I've climbed up. I've seen people do it in other parts of my life. I don't like it. I think 181 has some really good intentions, but I think that it's gonna fundamentally change what Vermont is. And it's just gonna cost people money. 98% of Act 250 permits are approved. It is just a huge onerous land rights grab, and it's eating up money, and it's funding engineering and things that sometimes don't need to be done.
Like I stated about the road rule and all that, that's gonna get the stormwater discharge permit. Cause they're gonna have an impervious surface, whether it's quarter-acre lot or half-acre lot.
The cost for the.
So now, not only will they have to get a stormwater discharge permit, they're gonna have to get an Act 250 permit. And what's the cost on that as compared to that? And we also have municipal zoning, and then what else is under Act 250 jurisdiction? When I look at the tier 3 maps,
Oh,
and I just see circles around houses,
yeah,
does that mean I can't build a shed outside the circle?
yeah.
Was that triggered Act 250? Cause I wanna build a shed outside the little circle on a house that's been there 60 years?
Because Michael, the thing is, at the end of it, you can still build if you have enough money. It's not about preventing people from building. It's about making it so incredibly expensive and onerous.
I don't even know that I don't know that it's the expense, but it's just it's the hurdles, it's the bureaucratic red tape that you have to cut
You
through that.
get Act 250,
A lot
you're
of
hiring it.
people-
So
It's not so much, right, it's not so much the expense is, I was just looking at Act 250 expenses, right? So let's say you're gonna for example, you're gonna put in a road, okay? and that road's gonna cost you $50,000.
Mhm.
Okay, and it triggers Act 250.
Mhm.
It's, $3 and the Act 250 permitting is it's per one, it's $6.65 per $1,000, okay? So you're spending $50,000 on your road,
Mhm.
it's 50 times $6.65, it's $330.
Mhm.
Then you have an application fee, which I think is $125. You have, a little bit of money, 75 cents per $1,000 spent goes to the A and R. So that's 0.75 times 50, which is $33. So I mean, it's not necessarily, if somebody's got $50,000 to spend on the road, Act 250 and, you know, the permitting and everything is less than $1,000. But you might have the stormwater, you might have some other things that, but it's not the money, right? It's the time and the hassle. So let's be real. $50,000 for a road, somebody has $50,000 for a road, they have $2,000 for permits. That's not gonna break them. They're not gonna say, I'm not gonna put this road.
And the requirements
farm.
I'm asking you to do
But it's
require
not-
professional people to do it.
And
that you gotta
exactly,
pay.
that's the thing, right? And it's the thing that it's because you don't navigate that stuff by yourself. And then, so you have to hire McCain Consulting or whatever, you know, like, and that's where, that's where it starts to add up.
So I
Well, the
see,
6 to 8 month delay could kick you into winter.
Yeah,
bat season or, but, so I see. The Act 250 applications, when it goes into comment period for all it gets crazy. When Battleground was building their little water or rebuilding their water treatment thing, and it might, because Battleground's under Act 250 jurisdiction, so it's already going to go through. So I get all the comments from all the, what they call stakeholders. And so one of the things that held it up for a long time was V-Trans. Because the apron was not paved. And they weren't gonna approve the Act 250 permit because V-Tran was gonna hold it up because the apron wasn't. And these people had radium in their water.
So it's not
I
about,
mean,
it's not about limiting development, it's about creating.
safety actually doesn't
things
matter.
to jump.
I think the bottom line for me is that how can you implement Act 181 and this new tier system before you've completed the maps? It's as simple to me as putting the wagon in front of the horse. Jason's example of seeing these tier 3 maps, which they say are a work in progress. And the next time they come around, they're gonna tweak the tier, they're saying, well, oh yeah, we might have screwed up on these tier 3 maps. But we can go ahead and fix them the next time around. In the meantime, the law is passed, and the law, then people like Jason and everybody have to start like dealing with the law. And if you don't have, if the law is based on a new map, and the new map's not complete, it's just, they gotta fast act with it.
I mean, so right now, Act 250, if the construction of improvements on attractive land involving 10 or more acres is to be used for it, that triggers Act 250. If you have 2,000 feet of road, it's probably gonna be on a significant acre site, no?
Yeah.
I mean. Right, I mean, and that, because now they're not saying, they're not saying they're not saying 2,000 foot road. They're saying an 800 foot road. And a network of road and driveways of 2,000 feet, so like,
So if it's a development,
yeah. You can get there pretty quick. If you have 10 houses that have, they can get there depending on how long the initial road is. I just. Act 181 in itself isn't overly crazy. I don't agree with a lot of it, but I also think when you start adding different acts up, it really takes away from like you. I don't believe we've seen the end of Act 59. I think Act 59 is something, the river corridor updates, can't even think of them all. When you start adding
Well,
up,
the current use conversation as it relates to Act 59. I mean, I think all of this, and there's no concrete answers, make it scary.
my thing is, okay, you wanna conserve 30% of Vermont by 2030, 50% by 2050. It just boggles my mind, like take an entire state, draw a line up the middle and say, you can't, half your state's useless.
Well, again, it's not that simple, because. if you read-
50%.
If you read, well, if you read you know, what is it, the one that Wendy and everybody's promoting.
181.
No, the website for the main opposition, Rural Vermont Rising. Right? Our land, our legacy, our voice. And one of the things that they point out is how much of Vermont is already basically conserved. Now, I mean, there's lies, damn lies and statistics. You know, but you know, what's the deal with the conservation law? It says, Vermont already, 27% of the state is already permanently conserved.
Yeah, you mentioned that
And
already.
including working lands, current use, I give a regular, an estimated 80% of Vermont is already under some form of stewardship or constraint. In a broader sense, Vermont has already met the 2030 goal, possibly exceeded the 50% goal.
Who said that?
This is on this Rural Vermont Rising. They're taking the numbers and twisting it. Anybody can do anything, but I'm just saying that their point is, to your point, is that we don't need Act 59. We don't need 30 by 30 and 50 by 50 because so much of the state is
50%
already
of the state.
conserved.
50% of the state.
What you're saying,
Is a lot.
these people are saying that 80% is already.
You take
conserved.
50% of the state, then what does it do to the other 50%?
Turns it into.
It makes it very valuable, does it not?
Does anyone know why does the Vermont Land Trust buy the development rights of your property
No.
and they give you a one-time payment?
No, wait, there's different ways.
Oh, boy, now wait a minute, whoa, what are we doing? How did we pivot to Vermont Land Trust just now?
Conservation, why do people put their land in conservation? What is the driving force to put land in conservation? Why do
We're
people do it?
debating whether or not we're gonna send a letter. As a planning commission, that would mirror the letter and the verbiage of the other valley planning commissions that have already sent letters. I would highly recommend whoever's task it is to draft the letter, poach, just be, mirror the language of what's been done before.
Aaron's letter from Moortown is the one I've read. I haven't read anything else. from
Does
the
anyone
other-
want to volunteer to try to write a draft letter?
I motion that the planning commission does not issue a draft
Yeah,
letter.
so we have to vote on the letter first.
I agree.
So we're.
Let's have a-
Any second?
I mean, you have individual rights to
I mean, just
individually
write
write a
and
letter
say,
yourself.
Planning commissioner, Paul.
Yeah, let's put it to a vote. Don't be so sure that I'm not with you. We should have a motion
did.
and a vote. Okay.
I motion that we do not issue
I'll
a
second that.
letter as a group.
I second it as well, but I don't want to be part of that.
So, all right, so the motion on the table is Andrew says that we no longer entertain sending a letter to the legislator saying we don't like 181. Freddie is
Signing
second.
it as the Facein Planning Commission.
Okay. So,
How about we put it in the positive? Should
Should.
the Facein Planning Commission send a letter as the Facein Planning Commission to the appropriate parties at the state of Vermont, voicing our concerns with Act 181 and its implementation?
Second,
so that's seconding whether or not we should. So now we're gonna
Should
vote
we
for
as
and
a board-
against.
Now, any discussion? Any further discussion?
Well, wait. Paul, can you please tell me again what you just proposed?
Should we, as a board, send a letter
voicing our concerns.
as a commission? Should we collectively send a letter as the Facein Planning Commission, voicing our opposition to
No, our concerns.
our concerns with Act 181 and its implementation?
What's the purpose?
But he's not defending the position, he's just trying to create a motion so he can vote for or against it. He's
Well-
not,
What's the purpose of the letter? Is the
What have
letter
we been
say?
talking about?
I wanna go back to the beginning of this meeting. If we draft a letter And you vote yes or no. So say, should we? That's all we're asking is should we? We're not saying which letter we're sending. That's what Paul's question is asking.
Should we write a letter?
But if we do write a letter and we draft a letter, y'all gotta look at the letter and vote on the letter, and that has to be under a warrant
Agreed.
meeting, because that goes back to the very first thing we talked about. today.
Agreed.
When are we gonna do that?
I'm voting, or I want.
It'll be a month from now, it'll be over.
Okay,
Hey,
so any further discussion? Do we know what we're, because it's gonna obviate, it's gonna make your question moot.
Let me make something clear.
your
The
question.
reason we're discussing this is because Wendy Bridgewater wrote an article in the Valley Reporter.
Right.
There's people that are concerned in this town about 181. We're the planning commission. We need to talk about it on the record at a meeting about what our thoughts are about it. Maybe we need to gather more information from our constituents about, because it's not about the five of us in the room, it's about the town. We represent the town, okay? It's not our personal points of view. We represent the town, okay? What does the town think?
I'm going to, I'm going to restate what we're voting on at this moment.
Should we write a letter?
Should we write a letter?
If we're gonna not vote on it until next month, it's gonna be moot.
Then let's vote on whether we should write a letter or not.
Based on
You
this,
seconded it. Any further discussion? Oh, sorry, you're the chair.
Not the letter itself, just should we write a
All right.
letter?
so the motion that was passed by Paul was, should we write a letter?
We haven't,
Freddie
passed it, we
seconded.
haven't voted it.
All in favor of writing a letter, please raise your hand. All not in favor of writing a letter, please raise your hand. The noes have it.
There,
Fair enough. Thank you.
done.
All we had to do is talk about it in the meeting. That's it. Okay? Thank you for your time.
Doesn't mean we can't take more feedback on 181.
Exactly. It's, do we write a letter at this?
So here's the thing, right? If you're talking about getting
Feedback
feedback with one.
May 14th, in this room.
We're not voting on S 325.
Jason sent out an email
Oh, this is the one that went this afternoon.
54 minutes before we started the meeting. Jason sent an email out describing the meeting that's happening on May 14th, Thursday, in this room. I would encourage you to attend
What time is the meeting?
Which meeting is this?
The one that's
the
happening.
informational meeting.
I'll get that for you, and I'll get you a Zoom link and all that. It's not, I'm not.
I
just
heard
found
it
out-
was 7 PM last time.
I just know that it's happening. I confirmed that it's happening on May 14th.
Because when we talked
And I'll
about,
also, for the meeting on Thursday, as soon as I get that from Josh, I'll get the agenda and Zoom link out to you guys also. I haven't received it yet for Thursday's meeting, but he has 48 hours to do so.
Thank you.
I'm actually, I mean, I'm probably not gonna attend the May 14th meeting. I'll probably look at the Zoom recording of it, but I definitely wanna see what this guy has to say. There's some stuff that was in the email links that he.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, I sent it the other day, but it was really just a copy and paste. My email said FYI, but it was just really. Just today, I kind of broke it down a little more, but kind of curious. As to what land use review board's opinion, and I have a feeling that they obviously think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Cause that's what they did, but I still wanna listen to the argument. I wanna hear the case. I'm not against conservation.
So I think
Just
that would be
against
something
conservation 50%.
that we should notify the public about, so that they can come
Yeah, sorry.
and learn.
I was paying attention, please.
At this meeting in May.
And May 14th, yeah,
Yeah.
that was the question I posed earlier. Do we want to encourage the public? Do we want to reach out to the public to show up to that meeting?
I
That's,
think so.
you can do what you wanna do, but this is not our meeting. It's Josh's meeting. It's a planning district meeting just held in our building. Obviously, you guys can.
I think we have the right to. do
Yes,
that.
absolutely do. But I'm just saying that. I just wanted to make sure we don't step on toes. Individually, you guys can do whatever you want. But if we do something as a commission to encourage attendance, let's just do a little, hey Josh, do you mind if you, just tell me to call Josh and say we might do this.
I move that we
Yeah, okay.
instruct Jason
Okay,
to talk to
forward.
Josh to make
I just
sure
don't
that
wanna
it's
step on
okay,
anyone's toes.
that we invite the Facein public to our town hall to listen to the LURB's take on 181.
I just don't wanna step on anyone's toes. It's not our meeting. It's all. I mean, I don't see the PC going out and saying, hey, the DRB is doing this and let's do that because it's DRB's meeting. I don't see the DRB going, hey, the PC's doing this, let's go to their meeting. Just saying. You know, common professional person.
Have we heard back from the select board? Cause I know they specifically wanted more information on 181. No,
They're.
they're happy with the
They're-
meeting?
Yeah, I talked to Chuck, he doesn't wanna do any more meetings, cause what are you gonna do? You're gonna have Christian Meyer, he's gonna be. In the valley on Thursday talking about it with the district,
Okay.
and then we're gonna have Alex Weinhagen here on the 14th. Who else are we gonna get from Central Vermont? That's gonna know more than the executive director,
Fair enough,
and he thought that was good enough, though, too.
okay,
I mean, if people really have issues, they need to talk to their state reps and lawmakers.
They
Yes.
had a meeting tonight during our meeting.
Yes. Yeah, they're getting the word there, right?
did you wanna move forward with that motion, or we just sort of, is that just sort of?
I'm just gonna do it,
Yeah, I mean, I don't,
just gonna say, hey.
I'm more than happy to entertain it, but I don't think we
The
need to.
planning commission would like to help advertise for this, you good with it, and that's what I'm gonna do, and he's gonna be like, absolutely. And then we're gonna do it, and then you guys can vote from there.
Right.
Yeah, there's no information on their steering. page.
No, I checked before, but they have 48, you really only need, I don't know, actually, their rules may be a little different, you only have to warn a meeting 48 hours in advance. For, only one that's really different is DRB.
Okay, so we sort of sidetracked into that. Finishing up item G, which is review of current town plan update status and look at initial survey trends. I was interested in assigning homework, but we didn't really get anywhere with that. Do we wanna have homework, or are we just gonna try to get the people that we give money to do the work for us?
Let's try those people first.
Okay, but like, that's a month from now, and we're trying to work towards a goal, like, if we can't keep kicking the can down the road, like, I've spent a lot of time going over this document in preparation to try to like. Get some traction into actually finishing this project.
The town plan project.
The town plan project, the one we're working on, like one
Do
eighty
we
one.
wanna have a meeting in 2 weeks?
Like on the 27th? And what would we talk about at that meeting?
Whatever our next steps are.
We got talking about formulating a list a second ago.
And assigning homework at that time.
Yeah.
So the goal and what,
I'm not comfortable with that. I will not be able to attend that meeting. I'll be on a flight to visit my mother in Raleigh, North Carolina. She's 96 years old, at the point of ice cream. But, I'm afraid if I'm not at that meeting, you guys are gonna burden me with an ungodly amount of homework.
I also can't be, I can't do the 27th because I'll be coming back from Mexico City.
I just don't know how much homework is there before we have the input from the town.
No, I'm saying like, can we just divide up the chapters and update the charts? That's literally all I wanna do. I just wanna get the charts
Who knows,
updated.
are we gonna use the same charts that the town cares about still? I mean, you see my point though?
The town plan hasn't changed. 04, 07, 14, 20. The charts that we just need to update the charts with the newest data that we're gonna end up.
What new data?
What?
What new data?
That we have to go mine for.
Like you just have to mine for it. Like I mined for
If
the
you give
number.
us homework, and we can't do the homework until we get the data.
Yeah, it's the US Census from 2020, right?
Homework. Let's review the charts in the town plan. So when Franny's here, we have actual data points that we wanna get, not just. An idea, we want that data, and that data, can we get that data for us?
Okay, that's good homework. We can come up with a list of data.
Yeah, do you guys wanna divvy that up by chapters, or do y'all just wanna just look at all the charts and everyone?
I think we were efficient by dividing up by chapters before working with.
But
I'm gonna look for a chapter, feels charts.
So for example, like table 3-8 in the town plan, which is based in deer harvest data. I went to the Vermont Department of Natural Resources. I got the deer harvest per year. I matched it with the other data and I took it from, it stopped at 2018 and now I have it to 2024. I updated that chart.
Well done.
You know, like that's what I'm saying. Like, these are not difficult charts to
update it
update.
and then we just.
So what ones have you not done?
That's the only one that I've done.
Okay,
I went through and I scrubbed all the charts out to try to figure this out. to know how many charts are in each chapter.
So how many total charts are there? And let's each agree to take them and go 1 through 3. You get 1, 3, 4 through 6.
The other thing is, that this is being published in 2028. Do we want data up to 2028? We're going to redo all the charts again?
Pretty good factor,
That's
but
an excellent
sooner or
point.
later, we're gonna have. to
Going
draw
to
the-
tough,
draw the
tough get
lines.
extensions.
I mean, I think it's the latest data we have.
I'm not trying to fight the homework, I don't wanna do it twice.
I think.
Good middle grade education.
How about this? What if we identify where we have to go and have contacts for those charts so that when the time comes, we could maybe do it in a more efficient manner?
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at one of them.
Just 52.
It's from American Community Survey estimates of 2017 and the 2020 town plan, so it was 3 years old.
I mean, then it's even.
Oh,
We include charts that.
So
data.
table 4.5 came from the 2019 town survey and table 4.6 came from the 2020 town survey, so multiple surveys.
So it sounds to me like we can do this in pretty short order at a meeting.
Oh, no, you can't update these charts in a meeting. Paul will never allow it. If that be.
But there's a lot of this,
No, like, for
there's a
example,
lot of this, I think we can get for our $64,000.
yeah, I hope so. I mean, but so like, it.
Definitely housing,
Okay.
the housing area.
No,
I
you-
move that we table this, we ask the Mad River Valley Planning Commission. Ms. Hope, is that her name?
Yeah.
Who will be at our meeting next time to update, and we should have a list of them.
Let's just get, a list of data points that we wanna get from them and then we'll know where we go from there.
So who's going to compile that list?
The list of the different databases that we require,
Of the
From her?
what?
data we want.
Yeah, the data that we want from Ms. Hogue, sitting in that chair.
And. It's. Not
It's not rocket science.
rocket
I mean,
science,
just ask ChatGPT to say what each chart was from our town plan.
and what is that?
I haven't done it yet, but
Oh, you're gonna ask it?
sure. It-
It's more about like putting it, it's more about just putting the data in so that it's updated, but.
But I think Andrew's point is valid. If we're not putting this out for another 2 years. If we gather the data now, we're 2 more years behind the 8 ball, if they're usually 2 years behind anyway.
Addition, what did we say the timeline was? When do we actually have to have this done by? It's not 2 years, it's like 14 months.
It's 6 months before it's due.
So we need 6, because we have to warn it publicly. People have to come to a meeting, then we have to give it to the select board. They have time to tell us what they don't like, if they don't like anything, then they have to warn it to a public meeting.
It's gonna be like January 27th.
So, but you have to have it done by January
And,
27th.
Yes.
So right now it's
9 months.
9 months from now, so it's not like this 2 years data is not, it's not 2 years, we have 9 months to produce a document, okay? So. You know, I'm trying, like I said, I went through and I fixed 225 different grammatical and spelling errors in it, and I tracked changes and I sent you the stuff so you could look at it, so you could see where that was. Whole paragraphs need to be rewritten that don't have anything to do with the data that exists in 2027. If we don't
I-
actually start working on this, we're never gonna do it.
I just don't know how you read the paragraphs without updated feedback from the town.
It's a, like, no, it's like things like the gravel pit, like there's a whole section in,
How about section 3? Let's do chapter 3 next month.
I agree, I think one of the things which we said that Kelly is now echoing is you're allowing yourself to get overwhelmed for a moment there, like, but it's breaking into bite-sized pieces, and I agree with Freddie. How about instead of us each going a chapter and working in our own little worlds and then bringing it back to the group, which is time consuming. Let's just pick a chapter.
And how would we do that, Paul? Would we have like a Google Doc?
so I have a Google Doc, which I created, it's shared. And if you say you're gonna work on chapter 3, you open up the Google Doc and you start editing chapter 3, and we can look at your track changes. I can send you that
Are we
doc,
allowed to do that? We're not
No.
allowed to do that, though.
Why aren't you?
That is communication outside of an open meeting law.
Yeah,
So I think Paul did something great with Claude.
yeah.
Do you,
Andrew likes his chat GPT, I like my Claude, rule 11. Claude.
I like my pencil.
to run that through there and see what it does for us.
Let's Claude our chapter 3.
And
That's what I
what
did
would be
for
the
my
question?
chapter, I did the homework, but then I wasn't here,
That's
Ask
like
the-
chapter 9,
but
man.
you just asked, you know, what are these goals and objectives in yours? You upload those and then, or whatever, right?
So,
And then we can review that at our meeting and see
Review what, Freddie?
You're saying it's
if we
advice.
do chapter 3, we each read it and make any notes that we're interested in. If somebody runs it through ChatGPT or Claude. And maybe we each do that because sometimes you get different answers.
Yeah.
Loads of different answers.
And then we come back and we discuss that at our next meeting.
So,
I wouldn't run the final through, but we can.
wait,
I would just do it to get ideas of what to change, and then we change it ourselves.
struggling, Freddie, there's two things. One is to make changes and revisions, I can understand that. And I thought the proposal to have a common document. so we have
Yeah.
Multiple, and then we can work on that, was a good one, but we're saying we
Can't do
can't do
that.
that.
Yeah, I wanna dive into more of this open meeting law violation for us to edit a document. That.
I think that's work product, and as long as we aren't voting on it, I think it's okay.
this communication is.
If we're all in the document together, communicating kind of,
It's
You can't like, it's not like you're
a
gonna like,
very dark gray area from all the, that I've gotten from VLCT and all that. I'll double check, see if they have anything updated on it from the last time I looked at it.
That would really inhibit our ability to do work.
We are not in the private sector.
alright, so hold on, but if I chop the document, if I chop the shared document into 10 subchapters. And then emailed them to people and they could edit them and then bring them to the meeting and we could review their changes. Then you wouldn't be communicating with each other, right? So if we decide that. Freddie's gonna edit chapter 2 and we chop chapter 2 and she has a document, she works on it, then she brings it to the meeting and presents it. And then we say, we like that, that's okay.
yeah, it's just Freddie editing the chapter.
Yeah, but then there's no,
Yeah, in chapters. So when you guys get into a Google Doc, you're actually communicating, like, I don't know about that, and so therefore you're actually communicating through the comments and the bubbles.
That God forbid we do anything efficiently.
Okay, but
Government work for you. Like I said, I'll double check to see if anything's changed on that, but, cause the last time I checked on it was a little bit ago and they were like,
But then-
very questionable.
Well, then, you know what, Jason, what about this
how do they
part?
expect us to get it
Why don't we
done?
put the Google Doc on
Supposed
the
to
town
have
website
Anything else?
and have read access to anybody and write-only access to us? Then anybody, then it's open and we're doing our work. And if somebody else has got 2 cents, they can contact
Put
us.
that on our website.
Pardon?
Have you seen our website? You
Yeah.
know where I'm supposed to put that on our website?
Exactly. Exactly, okay, however, this way, the public can see it, they can comment to one of us if they want to. It's the existing document. And then we have only us have right.
Editing rights.
Editing right.
so hold on, read access without write access. So if I made 10 documents, 10 separate chapters, and I gave. Everyone read access, but only one person on the commission write access, would that be violating open meeting law?
Well, wait.
Wouldn't that be the same as just coming here and working on it?
We've just jumped to my.
No, I like your the town website idea, which I do love, but I do know that the webmaster and the whole situation is very difficult.
What I'm trying to do is be able to work efficiently. And collaboratively, that's what I'm trying to do. And to be quite honest with you, I'm a better person in the morning to focus on things than at
Yes.
7 o'clock at night.
8:30,
Pardon?
I said 8:30 at night.
And I'm also,
Be in bed.
I feel like if we could collaborate on one document, we could try it. And we're not violating the open meeting laws. I think that might be helpful. We just do one chapter.
Can you check with them? And see if we can do that? And get back to us? In
If
the
we can,
meantime, what if we all review chapter 3? And come prepared to discuss it and make edits at our next meeting? Except we're gonna have this other lady here at our next meeting.
yeah, it's like,
That won't take that long. Shouldn't take that.
No, Franny's dead, she does it in like 20 minutes.
Okay.
I honestly, only one of us needs to edit chapter 3, and then we all just need to agree when we look at the edits.
But if we aren't looking at it,
Well, no, you're gonna look at it when we review we're gonna go through the whole chapter together as a group, but one person's gonna go through and make common sense edits to clean out all that stuff.
and
right?
who did chapter 3 when we did our discussion?
I did.
Does everyone have this in Word document?
Yes. Oh, Word?
Does everyone have town plan? I sent it to Paul, right?
I think I have it too.
So why don't,
I sent it to all of you.
just until I hear back on this open meeting. Kerfluffle. Let's get this in Word document, you guys work on it in red line, and then when you come in. Unless we get Omnis Dominus on doing a Google Doc, everyone will have their red line version of chapter 3, and then we can all review our red lines. And possibly even get it up on the board and
But
create
we
one.
really
master
all
doc.
need to work on the same
Well,
chapter?
we might as well, because we're not gonna work on.
Yeah, I
both
mean-
Chapters at that meeting.
Y'all kind of have to work on the chapters together.
And that
'cause
way we've all taken a deep dive in and have,
How you vote and approve it, unless
And
you've
it's
actually
one
worked on it.
chapter at a time, and it's, you know.
But like, it would be really great if you could work with the Historical Society and edit chapter 2. Like, I'd rather
and
put your
that can be
energy,
done, probably not this month, but
okay,
that
but
can
like,
be done.
so like,
Yeah.
for me, I'd rather see your energy go into fixing chapter 2, like, because that's an area of your expertise, right? And like, if we all wanna look at a chapter,
You
that's,
don't, yeah,
yeah.
if you don't work on it, how do you know that you disagree on something?
And we all have
Yeah.
to vote, we're gonna have to all vote on the whole document. So we're gonna have to break out of our lanes and, and it's nice to know that you're all working towards a common goal. And that way we can hopefully get chapter 3 done and dusted at the next meeting.
Chapter 3 done, except for.
And in chapter 2, Freddie's got that under control, but it's waiting on, she's got a couple of things that are wait on. Some of this shit's gonna wait on data. But I think chapter 3, we could, I think this is right, we redline it and we come back and we're done with chapter 3.
And we'll do a master red line in the next meeting.
So
And
for
since we have, what, 9 chapters?
10,
And
Ten.
3 is a pretty hardy chapter.
I asked the Facing Conservation Committee to give us notes on chapter 3. I haven't received them from them yet,
well, they have a month now, so I think
but
good to get them moving.
I asked them
Yeah.
2 months ago.
Well, now we have it on the board, if we have it on the agenda, maybe they'll.
So let's prompt them.
Can I talk to Lisa about putting something in then for chapter 3 in the Valley Reporter? So they come to that, people, if they have issues or suggestions, they come to that.
And then, just glancing at, chapter 4 is gonna really have to wait on data.
Yes.
So we don't have to worry about chapter 4 right now. So let's get chapter 3 done and dusted.
And at the end of our next meeting, let's have a plan of what we're gonna do with the chapters, when we're gonna try to do them, and see if we think we're gonna need extra meetings, and if we are, let's schedule them.
Alright,
So that we can all keep our calendars.
so the agenda for the next meeting. Who's attending, Jason?
Franny Hoag, MRBBD,
And she's gonna talk to us about what?
the annual data report. I mean, I'm gonna draft an agenda for you and send it to you tomorrow.
I know, you're the best.
And
Randy
then,
Hoag's gonna talk about the annual data report. We're gonna and then
we're gonna work on chapter 3.
chapter 3.
Jason, I'm afraid I don't have the Word document.
I will send, I didn't think you did, I'm gonna send it to everybody, except for Paul. But no.
Yeah, I can
But
give
I'll
you the
send it to
original.
Paul anyway.
But are we working from your version now? Is that, let's make sure.
No, you're gonna get this version in a Word form.
Okay, but you just sent us a 10 MB document that has all edits in it.
Yeah, just got rid of all the spelling and grammar problems.
So my question then is, should we be working from that, which is a step revised from the one that Jason has?
I'd love to do that.
That will be in his red line.
I would,
So that's the document we should be
No, it's
using.
gonna work from the original.
No, we're gonna work from the original.
well, it's redlined already.
All right,
Well, you're bringing that red line version and then we're gonna bring our red line versions together.
What?
We just.
He's saying that he's gone through and edited messy words and stuff.
I just ran
think we
spell
can't-
check and grammar check. That's it. I mean, like,
Well, then
literally.
we can just do that again.
Okay.
I think we should start. with
Okay,
the
afresh.
original.
Okay,
Okay, so we need Jason's to send us the Word document, please.
Okay,
And we're gonna see if we can do this collaboratively in one document, but at the moment, we're gonna all do it independently and send it, correct? Bring it. Okay,
just chapter 3.
I'm not optimistic. So that's why I'm like working on a
Okay.
backup plan.
so now what's next on our agenda?
So it's chapter 3, it's a big work section on chapter 3 where we're gonna review every paragraph and every sentence of chapter 3. And then it's the reports, is that it?
I think so.
But for the most part, everyone should have their work done before we come here, and we're just looking at the 5 different ones and going.
Yep.
And one of our 5 could end up being the master, and we'll incorporate from the other 4.
So they're all, everyone's gonna work in Microsoft Word with track changes, and then we're all gonna present our changes.
well, I think what we'd do is we'd go, here's a paragraph 3.5. Anybody got any changes? And then we'd say, yeah,
we don't have to get down in the weeds about how.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's pay
So let's
special
get the
attention.
Alright, so it's training, she has the annual thing, chapter 3, then we do liaison reports, other business announcements, and adjourn.
And we have liaison reports to do tonight and then we can adjourn?
Yeah, we have to say our next meeting is gonna be May 11th. And then
Yeah, it's normally scheduled meeting.
May 11th. Okay, liaison reports,
What's the first one on the agenda? I packed
it would
up.
be MLVPD,
No report, did not attend.
Okay.
BVRPC.
Did not attend, but reviewed it and they were working on the North Town, like she said, town plan. And adopted it, because that's part of the process, we have to submit our town plan to them. And then aside from that, there's, they're having ongoing issues with that lawsuit. The board is getting, and some other people are getting sued.
Yeah, what was that? You told us about
Can you
that.
get, just
Well,
like,
I think it's mostly open meeting
Open meeting.
law.
Who's getting sued? Moretown?
Your VPD.
No,
Or Central Vermont?
Central Vermont. And then some other people that work at the state are also in it, but. Yeah.
is it like executive session stuff, like you can't talk about it, or? Oh, you got it from the notes.
But yeah, there is executive session.
Okay, so yeah, there was an executive session, but you weren't there for it.
Yes.
Okay,
And then
It's in
the-
litigation, you gotta be quiet.
you can just say it's executive session, I get it.
I mean, you can read a lot about it, but.
Alright, anything with the path besides their bridge grant?
so there's 5 things.
Okay,
We got the implementation coordinator position funded by Waitsfield and Warren during the town meetings
and that's for 1 year, right?
for 1 year.
1 year.
So, and we've then put out one ad, and we've got a lot of candidates that we're reviewing now. So it's encouraging. It's good. We actually did get a $600,000 grant for the Millbrook Bridge to Dugway Road. This is the one that we went to the CVRPC for, and I discussed it with them at the January meeting. So we did get that grant, which is quite encouraging. And that's gonna be for the bridge across Millbrook, as well as some before and after leads. The path met with the State House a couple weeks ago. Candace and Dara sponsored that, and the path people came in and met with other stakeholders in the transportation group, and that may have helped with getting the grant. We are also working on the Kingsbury Greenway. This is the part that's near the bottom of Sugar Bush Access Road. And we have plans to actually do that improvement, including a bridge improvement, this year. Now, we're still working on the funding, but
Where is this?
it's right at the bottom of Sugarbush Access Road, you know, there's
The Kingsbury Farm.
yeah, it's called the Kingsbury Greenway. I could actually show you, I have we
By
met
the
with the
snowmaking
Facein
pond, right?
By the snowmaking pond?
Yeah.
So by the snowmaking pond,
No.
not by the access road.
No, it is,
Dermot.
on the east side. Okay, that's not at the snowmaking pond, you know, this is at the east. If I could, well, I did give you guys the presentation last time. Unfortunately, I don't. have the
I've seen that graphic, yeah.
Okay, do you have it? Okay, but basically, this is Warren. And then here's the Sugarbush Access Road, and here's the part we're trying to work on right now. With this year, and then it goes by, we have to do right of way approvals to go all the way from Yester Marl this way, and then you go. The grant we just, oops. The grant we got, this is Waitsfield over here, and we got the grant to go from, by the Austin Walk across the bridge over this area, so this is gonna be really big because that's narrow along Route 100. So, and this is the presentation we gave to Facein, select board, the part there is really no part in Facein itself, but we just kept them appraised and, of what we're doing. We did not have any asks for them.
So question, Michael, when you say east of the Kingsbury Farm, across the road, north, south, east, west, unless the sun's.
Goes
out.
behind,
It looks like it's from that swimming hole down towards the snowmaking.
From,
No, the swimming hole is way down this way. Here is the Kingsbury Green.
Bridge.
It goes,
oh, Riverside Park,
yeah.
that's swimming pool,
That's-
okay,
Yeah.
There's a, yeah.
Yeah.
Two swimming pools.
Yeah.
The triangle.
But the bridge is a little bit decrepit and more different.
which bridge?
A little
For that
bridge.
Kingsbury area?
Yeah, down the Riverside Park.
Didn't know there was a bridge.
Yeah. Yeah, if you come down the Access Road, you can actually see it. So things are going well for the path. There's been a lot of activity. And we have roughly monthly implementation meetings. There's been good communications in the Valley Reporter. There's been multiple articles. Misha keeps talking to Lisa about it, getting articles in there. So yeah, it's a lot of enthusiasm. Warren Select was very supportive. They've given us some money. And so that's why most of the work is going on that end right now.
So you say there are 5 things. I've got,
They are. Yeah, they are.
I've got the position
There you go.
funded by Waitsfield Warren.
You take those notes out of them.
Alright. 600,000. But
And the fifth one, Jason, was we met with the select board.
Okay.
Our vacancy. And I gave you the presentation.
Yes, that was the
I had a
presentation.
bit of a dialogue in it.
all right, I move that we adjourn.
May 11th is the next meeting, no other business, no announcements, no one's resigning. Freddie moves to adjourn, consider second,
Second.
all in favor? Aye. Building is adjourned at 8:37 PM.
Thanks for listening.
Whose house is this?
Bert Lindsay. I mean, recording.
Would anyone like to put up town plans, QR codes?
He's got